The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Overreaction Monday, December 14th, 2020, and today we're going to be dramatic. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop. Today is a glorious day because although there is one more game in this beautiful Week 14, we have learned a lot about the NFL. Yesterday was a magical day. Who's dead? Who's alive? We'll overreact to all of it. Speaking of overreactions, we'll have a Pittsburgh treasure, a national folklore, Mark Madden, joining us in about 20 minutes to talk about his thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers, since having one particular fan join their fan base, have lost 100% of the games that they have played. We'll talk to Evan Fox about that. We'll talk to Mark Madden about his thoughts about Juju Smith-Schuster's TikTok dance before the game, potentially igniting a little fire behind the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen actually said before the game to the boys, they can do all the singing and dancing they want. We'll just go win a fucking game. And they did, by the way. And the Buffalo Bills did just that. Are the Steelers dead? That's a conversation that has to be had. Tonight's a big AFC North matchup between the Browns and the Ravens. If the Browns win, are the Browns the new team that everybody should be looking out for out of the AFC North? Or will the Browns continue to be the Browns of the last 50 years and lose to the Ravens tonight with a door potentially opening for them? I can't wait to see how that plays out. The Kansas City Chiefs get another win down in Miami, but they couldn't cover. Fuck.
Son of a bitch.
How could they not cover, by the way? I'll tell you how. Patrick Mahomes threw 3 interceptions, 2 in the first quarter. It was problematic. But just like the Kansas City Chiefs do, and whenever they want to do, they can just turn it on just like that. Travis Kelce will take off, Tyreek Hill will take off, and their defense will be able to get a couple stops until the very end. Whenever they can't give up any points, for all those that cover or bet the Chiefs to cover 7 points, they choose not to do so, only win by 6. Everybody's pissed off. But the Chiefs are still the same old team that we always thought they were, which is a team that can go on and win whenever the fuck they want. Now the conversation revolves around who's the other AFC team that can compete with them to maybe represent in the Super Bowl. How about the Indianapolis Colts? Ooh. The Indianapolis Colts beat the dog shit out of the Raiders yesterday in Las Vegas. It's good news that T.Y. Hilton is probably going to win the Offensive Player of the Week for the AFC, which we predicted last week after he came on this show, because this show does that to people, gets them onto the Players of the Week awards things. But T.Y. Hilton now is scoring touchdowns. Phillip Rivers seems to be protected. The Colts defense in the second half shuts it the fuck down whenever they want, and Kenny Moore had one of the nicest interceptions I've ever seen. But with Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines in the backfield, with that offensive line, which, by the way, Quentin Nelson played left guard yesterday, left tackle yesterday, and I think somewhere else, because Anthony Costanzo kind of had to leave and get something retaped and readjusted and come back out there. The Colts might be the best bet in the AFC to go against Kansas City Chiefs. And I wouldn't have said that 5 weeks ago, I don't think. I would have said that 6 weeks ago, but I think what this team has become is a team that you can bet on. Now, it is obviously difficult to know what the fuck Phil Rivers is going to do, because Phil Rivers, I don't think, knows what Phil Rivers is going to do. Phil Rivers has become very confident, very comfortable in this Colts offense. That defense is great. Special teams is good. I think you got to look at the Indianapolis Colts as the team of the AFC, but don't count out a couple teams that are inching in the back door. The New England Patriots potentially getting in the back door. Things are getting crazy all over the NFL, and we'll talk about it all today. Also joining us, Michael Lombardi, former general manager of the Cleveland Browns and coaching assistant to the New England Patriots, will be joining us in hour 2. Cannot wait to chat with him. And also your phone calls, 1-888-623-3646. Give us a call. We can't wait to chat with you. And we have overreactions from all across Twitter. After like 6 minutes of the tweet being posted, it started trending in the United States. We appreciate you. Let's go. It was trending alongside some very serious things, so happy we kind of sneak in there. Thanks, everybody, for keeping up, and let's go ahead and have a goddamn day. At Tone Diggs, Pittsburgh Steelers, dead.
Ooh. Pat, I don't want to overreact.
No, yeah. You got to.
I got a 5-step plan to fix the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right.
Number one, first and foremost, fire Randy Fichtner. Okay, worst offensive coordinator in the entire NFL. Over the last 30 games, they have scored 1 touchdown on the opening possession. All those opening possession drives are choreographed by Randy Fichtner. Every single second and long, you hear the defense yell, "Watch it draw!" Yep. Same thing junior high defenses yell. Okay, He's the worst offensive coordinator in the entire league.
Okay, that's
Number 2, cut Eric Ebron. Guy's he's not a Steeler. Guy's not a Steeler. He's not a Steeler. Nothing about him screams Pittsburgh Steeler. He's lost every single place he's gone. Ruined the Detroit Lions. He ruined the Colts. He's ruining the fucking Steelers. Get him out.
What? Now this is because he went over to Josh Allen and said, "Hey, Josh, good game, Josh."
Nice. That didn't help.
Can't do that, by the way. Can't do that. I mean, the drop passes are one thing because the entire Pittsburgh Steelers team is dropping passes. But after the game, you just lost. By the way, big game in the AFC. That was a big game in the AFC for the Bills. And Steelers. While Josh Allen's live on national television giving an interview, you go and interrupt him, dap him up, smile, how you doing, keep it moving, and walk off, tell him a good game. That's a tough look. Knew Pittsburgh wasn't going to be happy about it. As soon as I saw it happen, which you're not. Okay, so that's step 2, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, so there's 3 more. Here we go.
Number 3, get the defense healthy. Okay.
Okay. Need the boys. Need the horses in the stable. Okay. Need the horses in the stable out there.
Calm down. All right. Number 4, quit fucking dancing on other teams' logos.
Ooh. Oh, this is Juju. It sounds like. It sounds like this.
Every single game, him and his goddamn TikTok following go out to the center logo and they do some stupid choreographed dance that some fucking 4-year-old can create. And then it hasn't bit him in the ass yet, but then the Bills used it as motivation yesterday. Was it the reason why the Steelers lost? Probably not, but do we need to be giving teams extra motivation when you stink right now? No.
Yeah,
quit
true.
fucking dancing on other teams' logos.
Yeah,
okay?
but by the way, the interesting thing about that is he literally goes out there and just dances on the graves. I mean, just before the game. And the dance that he did yesterday actually had him doing this on the thing. Yeah. And then I think he did this and he even did a whoop, you know what I mean? Like on the whole thing. It's wild what he was doing there. Yeah. And by the way, nobody said anything except for we saw what Poirier came out and said, it gives you a little itch to go out there and hit some people in the head or whatever. Yeah. I can't believe he did it right in front of the Bills punter too. Oh yeah. So as I saw it happening, I was like hoping maybe the Bills punter will give him at least like a, hey Juju, get your fucking shit out. Go fuck yourself. That's interesting though, but it's a new league, Diggs. It's a new Diggs, it's about fun.
He's having fun.
He's having fun.
Yeah, last time he did it, he was doing it in front of Boz while Boz was trying to warm up for the game.
Oh
so
yeah, it made
awesome.
Boswell move actually, and then he missed.
And speaking of the TikTok generation ruining everything, number 5 is if this piece of shit human being doesn't stop pretending to be a Steelers fan, I'm going to call some of my family and I'm going to feed him to the fucking fishes.
Oh, you're talking about the Italians. He just said.
Foxy, if Foxy doesn't cut his goddamn curse off within the next 3 weeks, we're going to have issues.
At Evan Foxy, I believe you are. By the way, Foxy, number 1, Ebron. Number 2, Juju. Yeah. Number 3, Randy Fichtner. Number 5, Evan Fox. That's crazy. You're up there you're 4 of the 5 pillars of the Steelers sucking right now, Evan.
Tone, that one hurts.
That one hurts.
First and foremost, I would like to say, when I chose the Steelers to be my team, I thought it'd be a little bit more fun. Yeah. All right, these last 2 weeks have not been very fun as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. But with that being said,
it's like being a Lions.
It's similar. But with that being said, I got a lot of people, including Tone Diggs, that said I'm a curse. All right. Okay, I didn't know people believed in curses these days. This is not Harry Potter.
No
all
way.
right, this isn't Lord of the Rings.
No.
This is real life, and this is a real fandom that I have for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's right.
Buffalo Bills are a good team. Give them a little credit here.
Exactly. This is real life, and you're really messing it up, bro.
It's not a joke to us like the Detroit Lions are, okay?
Steelers are a real thing, okay? Steelers have real fans. Foxy, that's what they're saying to you. You're ruining their life.
Look, it's just like when you're out in Pittsburgh and someone's walking around a little too much confidence. All right, sometimes you got to get smacked in the mouth. These last 2 weeks, the Steelers have lost. They needed that smack in the mouth because they were undefeated before that. Now, you know what they're going to do?
What?
They got to play the Bengals.
What?
They're going to bounce back and find their grit again.
I will say this. It's been interesting because it does feel like Foxy's the most upset one about the Steelers losing. You know what I mean?
Weird.
He came in here head hanging low.
Oh, yeah.
He said, is it me? And he's like, no, curses aren't real. Curses aren't a real thing. This isn't Mickey Mouse. This isn't Disney. This is real life, Foxy.
It's real. I'm pissed off, Pat. I'm real pissed. And all these other people tweeting at me that want me to root for their teams that they hate, their rivals, because they think I'm cursed. Grow up, dude. Grow up.
At Boston Connor, watching your roommate Foxy become one of the least favorite humans in an entire city has to be pretty fun to kind of watch it. There's a lot of hate for Foxy on the internet last night.
Oh, it's
a lot
fantastic.
of hate for Evan Fox.
I love it, and I even love more that, he doesn't think that it's affecting the team. I mean, Diggs can't even sleep. I know Nick is, grinding his teeth back there, and Foxy's just acting like it's no big deal. He's ruining an entire football season.
How about this team going undefeated until Foxy decides to be a fan, then they just lose outright and look bad. Look bad. And now they got Roethlisberger contemplating retirement yet again.
Yeah.
He told somebody asked him why something's happening. He goes, because I'm not good, is what he said. They're going to have to fucking pick Roethlisberger up from the pits of hell right now. He might be down there next to Dan Bailey, to be honest with you. You got to pick him up and kind of wipe him off and say, come on, have you heard his answers to these questions?
Well,
this is the classic Roethlisberger. I'm going to retire. It feels different this time.
Yeah, that's just Big Ben and the team healing itself. That's the first step. Fake injury next week is second step, okay?
And then he'll be ready for the playoffs, which you guys might be like a 4 seed by that point.
That's
because
fine.
I don't know if anything's coming on. You're going to have to beat anybody to win the whole goddamn thing anyway.
Clinched yesterday, by the way. Clinched.
Oh, congrats, by the way. Ty, Aaron Rodgers looked unbelievable, but still, Lions almost make that a game in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I said it last week. The special teams is going to bite him in the ass eventually. You go up 10, give up a 70-yard kick return on the following play. When Stafford's already out, instead of giving Chase Daniel like 90 yards to go, let's just give him 15. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, the offense is great, but again, it's the same thing as last year. It's the same thing as it's been the last 8 to 10 years. If the offense doesn't score 45 points a game, they're gonna they're gonna be in some situations where there's a good chance they're gonna lose.
Yeah, it's very Mason Crosby, by the way, big time tackle after hitting a 57-yard field goal. Shout out to Mason Crosby.
Shot.
Shot his shot. OG, by the way.
Interesting.
Threw it at the legs.
Yeah.
It was a great tackle.
It was.
Actually. I love Mason Crosby.
So he hasn't missed a kick this year.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. And he's like 95 years old, too. He was in the league before I got into the league.
Really?
He was at Colorado. I remember everybody talking about him having the biggest leg of all time or whatever. And I was sitting in West Virginia like, yeah, fucking come on, pal. All right. But then I saw him actually kick, and I was like, oh, this guy's unbelievable. And he's been so consistent. He had that one little run with the yips.
Right.
But aside from that, he's been so consistent for so goddamn long. I love Mason Crosby, man.
And even yesterday, that 58-yarder, it's kind of like Foxy used to be with Prater, before he switched allegiances. But, I mean, I never feel like he's not going to just drill that. And it just looks so effortless.
Yeah, he's good. He's very good.
Defense, on the other hand.
You think he's going over to J.K. Scott like, hey, that's how you make a tackle?
No, I would assume there's a lot of people talking to J.K. Scott about tackling. Just say, hey, just fall. Maybe just fall in front of him. At least become a hurdle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least make him do something. I think he doesn't want to get hurt, obviously, but at some point you got to do something. On the football field, there's a chance you're going to have to make a football play. Mason Crosby did that, and I'm very thankful for him because the kickers had a rough one yesterday. Kickers had a rough outing. I think there was 12 missed field goals and 5 missed extra points or whatever. Hey, week 14's tough. These balls aren't just flying straight anymore.
No.
There's a lot of breeze out there. You know what I mean? A lot of conversations happening. A lot of built-up doubt, potentially.
Yeah, for sure.
Going on.
I wanted to ask you about that. Is that something that you think has gotten into his head and it's affected his punting overall now?
JK?
Yeah.
I don't know. JK hasn't been punting the ball as well. Is that what you're saying?
No, not. I mean, yeah.
It seems like towards the end of the year,
Just
things
very inconsistent.
It feels like towards the end of the year it happens. I don't know. The Pilates thing was always very interesting to me. You know what I mean? I never did it, but I always felt like the people who did it, they were always considered to be in much better shape than me, which they were. It felt like their bodies always felt a lot better than mine, which they did. Felt like their knees, well, potentially, but there's a lot of guys that do Pilates that tackle people as well. But it feels like your muscles potentially don't. I don't think they're as powerful as long. I feel like a lot of these guys who get into Pilates and yoga, at some point their muscles kind of peter out.
Not as explosive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I think it's two different ways to do it. Now, I can't touch my toes, and that probably caused my knees to be at an all-time tension, bow and arrow. You know what I mean? So it probably didn't help me at all. But I think the way he punts and everything like that, towards the end of the year, I've always been very intrigued to see how he continues to do so. Because whenever I would get towards the end of the year, I would have to use my entire body to get through it. And there's some of these punters that don't even leave the ground. They just swing their leg. And I'm so impressed about how they maintain the strength to do it. But towards the end, I feel like JK does have a little bit of a, like beginning of the year, he's dominant, right?
Well, and that's what you see, like the huge difference. It's like those early games, like they're actually pinning people, and then the defense is actually playing pretty well. And then you get towards the end of the season, and it's like they're giving up field position big time, and it's a big difference.
Yeah, the offense, whenever they get the ball outside of their own 20, 25, I think the percentage of scoring goes up like 30, 40% or something like that. So it's like a real thing. You know, commentators know all about it, but those fucking idiots will never say a single thing about it. Like those blocking the back on returns. Michael Lombardi and I were talking about this last week. Those blocking the backs where people started like their own 8 or 7 instead of out at like the 35 or 40 or whatever. That's like a 65, 70% swing on whether or not you're going to score. And it's like, blocking the back can't do it. All right, now they'll start their own 7-yard line or whatever. It's like, okay, can we also talk about potentially how that team's fucked right now?
Yeah.
Oh, no, don't have to, don't do it. But if you have a good punter, it's a big deal. It seems like JK towards the end, it does get a little bit different. But, I mean, he was in Detroit yesterday, so you can't blame the weather.
Exactly.
I don't know. He'll figure it out. He'll figure it out. Packers are going to have a long offseason. No, they're going to have a long postseason.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
JK has a chance still to get back into the groove. He's got a few weeks left, and he's got a lot of playoffs going because Aaron Rodgers ain't going to let him
No,
lose.
he's not. He won't.
He won't. Neither with
simply
Devontae
won't.
Adams, by the way. He's unbelievable.
He is. MVS played great yesterday.
Lazard as well.
I don't know if you saw Big Bub Tunyon had like just like kind of like a forearm that knocked out like four guys for the Lions, set up a big first down on the third down play.
Oh, yeah. It gave Aaron like 45 seconds in the pocket.
Yep.
Yeah. Can't beat Aaron Rodgers when he's sitting in the pocket like that.
No, you can't.
Zeta, Bears, how we doing?
Bear down, we're back.
Bears are back. The Bears, let me get Trubisky's actual stats here. I want to make sure I get it accurate.
Feel free to get the other 2017 quarterback class guys, too.
Oh, yeah. He had the best 2017 quarterback class of the day.
Yeah, 2 other bums, but all right.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes had 3 picks yesterday.
Oh,
yikes.
Mitchell Trubisky had 3 touchdowns yesterday.
0 picks.
Trubisky went 24 of 33. Okay, so they let him throw that thing.
Oh, yeah, he's back.
267 yards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, think about that.
Oh, yeah.
267 Mitchell Trubisky won for yesterday. They beat the Texans, obviously, 36-7 in an absolute ass beating. 2017 quarterback class passer rating, Mitchell Trubisky, Deshaun Watson, and Patrick Mahomes. The passer ratings go, Patrick Mahomes had a 91.9, Deshaun Watson 101.9, Mitchell Trubisky 126.7.
That's the best quarterback, baby.
Did you say ugh?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you said?
Oh, yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, you guys got to feel pretty good about that. What happens, though? Because everybody's still going to get fired, so I don't understand.
Yeah, you know, the win actually, I think, prevented some firings closer than happening.
Sooner, yeah.
But, hopefully we just make the playoffs now. That's all we're hoping for.
Hey, you're in the hunt, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, we're in the hunt.
Yeah, in the
yeah.
NFC, they're in the hunt out there. The Vikings losing is a big deal. Obviously, the Vikings had the 7 spot in the playoffs. They lose to the Buccaneers after coming off a bye. And you know what? Dalvin Cook was really impressive there yesterday. That was just an ugly game. And Tom Brady did not play great early coming out of the bye. You would have thought maybe they would look different. Ronald Jones is a stud. LaShawn McCoy got the rock a little bit yesterday. Gronk had a right-handed spike for the first time this season. Spike's back. How you doing? Playoff picture. What do we got going on? I don't know if we learned anything about the Bucs yesterday coming out of that bye week. I thought there was a chance, that during the bye week you have self-evaluation, you change some things around, and they ran the ball more. They definitely they led off the game with a run, so it definitely was a conversation. But that win over the Vikings yesterday, I don't think anybody's like, you know what, Bucs are a team to beat now still. But with the Saints dropping the ball against goddamn Eagles, I mean, who knows anything anymore at this game? The fucking Philadelphia Eagles, entirely different team yesterday.
Yeah.
All phase. Now Jake Elliott missed a short kick, so I'm not going to say all phases, I guess. But that Eagles team. I mean, there's an overreaction tweet that we got from somebody that said, does Doug Peterson have it out for Carson Wentz? No. Yeah, then there's a tweet where, Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz are kind of side-eyeing each other while Jalen Hurts is in the back. That team looked much different yesterday than they had in weeks past, and I would assume that's because they saw – what was going on in the team, or maybe it was because that option with Jalen Hurts just running the rock a couple of different times, it seemed like they were a lot more creative there. Are the Philadelphia Eagles in the conversation now all of a sudden? The NFC East is all of a sudden the hottest league in the entire NFL. It's awesome. Washington football team, they get a big win. That Chase Young dude is insane. Fucking insane, dude. He scooped the ball one-handed and then tossed it to his other hand and then fucking just ran for 55 yards for a touchdown. That was awesome. Giants stink, so I guess that is
unfortunate.
they're kind of out. Now it's Eagles or Washington. I mean, there's so much to be had still. We got to get to a break. We have Mark Madden on the other side.
Let's go.
Zito, what's your poll for the day?
Yes. Who is the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC? Right now, last place is Browns, 9.4%. Then we have the Steelers, 13.5%, Titans, 17.2%, and Bills, 59.9%.
So everybody likes the Bills after last night. I do too, by the way. I do too. Josh Allen's playing great football. Titans, 17.2%. I think people need to relax on not trusting the Titans. If Derrick Henry... Yesterday's game against the Jaguars was one of the easiest live bet things of all time. Derrick Henry had like a 50-yard run in the second quarter. If he's doing that in the second quarter, you know what's coming in the third and fourth quarter. He had over 200 yards yet again. That team, they could beat the Chiefs. I mean, they almost beat the Chiefs last year, and then Chiefs dropped 24 in one quarter or whatever out of nowhere. But it's just the Steelers is falling out of conversation quickly. I mean, 2 weeks ago, they were the only undefeated team. Now it's like Foxy's a fan and all hell is breaking loose. We got to get to a break. Mark Madden, Pittsburgh radio host, will be joining us. Cannot wait to hear his thoughts on this entire thing. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Overreaction, Monday, December 14th, 2020. Mr. Aaron Rodgers! How was the bye week? You weren't allowed to leave. You weren't allowed to do anything. What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I had the COVID test every morning, just like all of our guys. And
Make sure you vote. Listen, if you don't vote, not having Aaron Rodgers Tuesday ever again, okay? Make sure you vote.
first Tuesday in November, right? So we're just going to skip this show?
No. Did you watch anything like maybe Ted Lasso during the bye week to help that entire thing out?
I didn't watch Ted Lasso.
Jesus. Come on. Unbelievable. Don't vote, Aaron. Hey, don't vote.
You know, in a tent in nature, just camping on my own property.
You camped out on your own property during the bye week?
Yeah, I'm kidding about that.
Oh, my.
Did you really wear number 40 at West Virginia?
Yeah, it was my GPA and my favorite drink.
Oh, you are wearing shorts.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Oh?
Pat doesn't believe me that they don't give Toradol shots there.
They don't give Toradol shots. But Age would drink this green legume drink that I'm sure was legal, but it made his body he had the worst gas you could
How do you maintain that high level for so long? Is it like super competitive? Like you have to be an ultra competitive human being to be a quarterback?
Well, I think it starts with being hyper competitive. You know, I think that's a trait with all the long time great players is you just have, I love to compete. I think the most important thing is you have to be self-motivated. And again, that may seem like a standard statement, but it's not. I mean, not every player is self-motivated.
Hey, how's Jordan Love doing? We don't hear much about him.
This is a good time for him to learn, to see what it looks like, to see what the week's preparation look like, and just kind of soak it all up.
And does that change where you throw the ball to people if they're more of a body catcher or a hands catcher or anything like that?
Anybody that gets the ball with their hands, it just changes the whole catch rate. It changes the whole confidence you have in throwing them. But anybody that naturally catches the ball with their hands probably gets a few more looks. I would say this: there's places that I would like to go in the future, and one of them is Egypt.
Ooh. When were the pyramids and the Sphinx? When were they constructed? Also, what kind of technology did they use?
It was aliens. Say it.
Yeah, it was definitely aliens.
Bingo. Yeah, there it is, by the way.
not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
The Pat McAfee Show.
Oh, Jesus. From Milan to Pittsburgh, Revtown jeans are the holy grail of jeans. A few guys from Under Armour quit their jobs and decided to make the most comfortable jeans on the planet. The guys took the stretchy athletic apparel fiber and the sweet comfort of sweatpants and partnered with the best maker of premium denim in Milan, Italy to create high-end denim jeans. Every pair of jeans is just $79 since they have no middleman. Think about that. They have jeans from Milan for $79. Yeah, most places are charging 2 to 3 times that price for jeans this damn good. We wear them all the time, and they really do feel like sweatpants. Why don't you head over to revtown.com/McAfee and check out their jeans. Again, that is revtown.com/McAfee and get jeans for more than half the price of their competitors in jeans that you'll never want to take off.
Hell yeah.
From Milan to Pittsburgh is Revtown jeans. From Pittsburgh to Pittsburgh, ladies and gentlemen, a Pittsburgh treasure, a man who's going to answer all of our questions about the Steelers, the AFC, and life. Ladies and gentlemen, from 105.9 The X in Pittsburgh, Mark Madden. How's it going, Paul?
Well, first off, during the lead-in, you showed a bunch of pictures of me, and there's certainly no shortage of unflattering pictures of old Double M, and you certainly proved that. Second off, I want you to see what I'm wearing today.
Okay. Oh, is that Juju Smith-Schuster jersey?
Yes, it is, because I'm going to stomp on your logo and then get my ass kicked.
All right. Oh, no. All right, Mark. Let's get right into it. You have been a known Juju Smith-Schuster fan from the very beginning. You've loved his TikToks. Now it seems as if everything you could possibly dream of has come into one story. The Steelers lose to the Buffalo Bills in dramatic fashion, and Juju Smith-Schuster and his TikToks are being mentioned as to reasons why that happened. Is there any way to fix this Steelers team, Mark? What's going on?
Well, Juju dancing on the logo isn't why they lost, not even close. But I do find it funny that here in Pittsburgh, we have a cerebral hemorrhage every time somebody is perceived to disrespect the bar rag that is the terrible towel. But when Juju dances on the logo, he's just a kid having fun. How would you feel, Pat? How would you feel if he danced on your logo for the brand? How would you feel?
I was thinking about that because he was dancing right in front of Corey Bojorquez, the punter for the Bills. I don't know how I would react. I honestly don't know how I would react to that whole
You'd have kicked him right in the nads. That's what you would have done. I saw you in war games, Pat. Yeah. Like Pedro Morales said, you're ready for all kinds of action. Just a tremendous job. But what worries me about the Steelers is that Ben Roethlisberger seems like his arm's shot. He got nothing on the deep ball. That last interception could have been fair caught. That pick six just didn't have the zip. And I am a Ben guy, but he's come back from surgery to reattach 3 tendons on his elbow, and it looks like his arm is fading as the season grows older. He won a bunch of games based on guile and being Ben Roethlisberger, but it looks like that's been taken off the table by the other team. The respect and fear isn't there. They don't run the ball at all. The offensive line's terrible. All those games without sacks is because Ben's getting it out in a couple seconds and throwing it 2 or 3 yards. The receivers drop the ball. People blame Fichtner, but Ben's the real offensive coordinator. Everybody knows that. Everything is down to him making the final decision. So it's just a bad situation. I've never seen a team go from 11-0 to just being a team. I don't think we'll win a playoff game, and I think might only win one more game the rest of the season. But that's where we are with the Steelers, and I really don't think there's a fix. If you have one, I'd love to hear it. In fact, I know Tomlin would love to hear it too, because I don't think he knows what to do, and that's not a knock on him. I'm not sure there's a way back.
Okay, so you're obviously assuming that they'll beat the Bengals this weekend then, because the Bengals stink. I mean, the Bengals absolutely stink.
If they had Joe Burrow healthy, the Bengals would have a chance. But, yeah, without Joe Burrow, I think they win that game. I think what likely happens, I think they beat the Bengals. I think they find a way to beat either Indianapolis or Cleveland, but not both. And then they go in the playoffs at 13-3, and they're one and done because, as I heard Rex Ryan say on Woke Center today, There's no team out there that they can beat in the playoffs playing like this, and I agree with that.
Okay, so you went after Ben a little bit there, saying his arm's getting tired, but it feels like every other pass is a drop ball. I mean, that's got to be something. How do you fix that, Mark? And is that just, Ebron, for all of his good that he's done in Pittsburgh this year, I think, obviously playing. There's been some moments where he's dropped balls. Then the Josh Allen situation happens. Now you got Lions fans that are like, this is Eric Ebron. You got Colts fans saying, this is Eric Ebron. And with those drop balls between him, Johnson in the offense, can you really blame Ben, though, I guess, for that stuff? Or you're just saying that he's not going to have enough in the tank to make it anyways?
Tavon Johnson didn't drop the ball. I know that. I mean, I can't hold Ben blameless. Tongue twister there. Yeah, I can't hold him blameless. I mean, he's had a great career, and he had a great year up until they went to this pop gun offense. And a lot of people think that this offense is doing only what Ben wants. I wonder if it's not doing only what Ben can. The other team has to defend the 10-yard field. That's it. They're not throwing deep with any consistency or effectiveness, and they can't run the ball. It's a simple team to defend. And, yeah, Pat, you're right. When you figure in the drops, that's, egg beater in troubled waters. It certainly doesn't help, but I think it's far from the main thing. It's funny. Tomlin said last week that he was going to bench the guys who dropped the ball. Well, then run the wishbone, coach, because you don't have enough pass catchers to go around.
Mark, even with the problems on offense, don't you think that the defense is enough to at least, get them through a few rounds of the playoffs?
No, not without Bush and Bud Dupree. No. They're an ordinary defense now. Now the other team can look at them, the other offensive coordinator, and say, okay, they got Watt and they got Hayward and they got Minka, but we can kind of game plan for them. It's not overwhelming anymore. You got guys out there like Highsmith and Ulysses Gilbert and Marcus Allen that you just don't have to worry about at all. Case in point, last night Cam Hayward ran amok in the first half. He was unstoppable. So then they switched things up, doubled, even tripled him, and he disappeared because you didn't have to worry about somebody going to the hole created by double and triple teaming Cam. I forget the name of the right tackle for the opposition last night.
Buffalo.
For Buffalo. In fact, I forget they were Buffalo. That's how much. But he did a number on T.J. Watt. I mean, T.J. Watt had a not a bad game, but an invisible game. And that's what you can do now against that defense. If you only have to worry about 2 or 3 guys instead of 5 or 6 guys, you can figure out a way. It might take time, but you can do it.
Hey, Mark, if the Browns get a win tonight, the Browns are hot all of a sudden. And I know you said you think the Steelers will get a win either over the Colts, who are playing very good football right now, or the Browns, one or the other. You think they won't win both. But the Browns fans, the Browns fans aren't used to winning like this, by the way. They've been very loyal for a long time. But the Browns fans are seeing this Steelers team start to stumble at this time. They're listening to everything you're saying. Are the Browns about to make a run at the AFC, Mark? Are the Cleveland Browns about to make a run in the AFC?
Pat, I don't know. It would certainly be indicative of these troubled times we're living in if they did. Of all the weird things that have happened in 2020, the Browns overhauling the Steelers from behind to win the AFC North might well be the weirdest. I don't know. I mean, Baker Mayfield right now is playing better than any quarterback in football. If that's not 2020 in a nutshell, I don't know what the frig is.
Aaron Rodgers, hold on. Let's slow down.
Yeah, good point. I mean, because he's on your show.
Yeah. Well.
How'd you get him to wear your logo?
Hey, pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Aaron Rodgers.
That is great.
Hey, he's a good guy.
That's tremendous.
He's a good guy.
I mean, it makes him kind of a stooge and a sellout. but he sells T-shirts, and that's what matters.
Yeah, fastball.
Still got it.
He's not a stooge or seller. He's a very incredibly intelligent man. Do you look around? Did you watch the Chiefs play the Dolphins yesterday? Do you think about that as you're talking about the Steelers, like the AFC as a whole, or do you just focus on the Steelers right now? How we got?
Well, no. I think about the AFC as a whole, and I don't see any teams that they can beat, any playoff teams. You know what's funny? I think they'd have a chance in the playoff game against Baltimore, even as much as they're slumping right now, because I think they just play Baltimore a lot. They're used to beating Baltimore. Beat them twice this year, even though the game against the JV was rough. And for that matter, they could have very easily lost the first meeting. But, I never thought they could have beat Kansas City. Look at Kansas City yesterday. They played like 10 minutes and they won the game.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. They fucking didn't cover, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm aware of that as well.
Yeah.
Mahomes is just overwhelming, though. He's a beast, but I'll tell you, your guy Aaron Rodgers, he might be the MVP now. I think he might have overhauled Mahomes for MVP.
We agree.
I'm not certain. It's good, though, because now we have, a few weeks left, and there's still the MVP to be battled for. Usually it's written in stone, and I think now it's up to who plays best these last 3 games.
Have you been paying attention to what's going on over there in Philadelphia? Wild times over there. Jalen Hurts undefeated currently, tops the New Orleans Saints, who had Taysom Hill at quarterback, who looked much worse than he did last week. But Philadelphia's an interesting run here because the NFC East, the Giants stink all of a sudden again. Their offensive line decided to stop playing football again. The Washington football team seems to be good. The Philadelphia Eagles are getting good. That's going to be a real race to the end there. But with Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts coming in for Carson, they owe Carson Wentz, I think, $100 million still at this point, or $50 million at this point. They got a little bit of a problem over there, Double M.
Well, it's not a problem if Jalen Hurts keeps playing this good. It's only 1 game. I was amazed that he got 100-some-odd rushing yards. That's incredible for a guy making his first start in the league. I don't know what's happened to Carson Wentz. I mean, can you venture a guess? I have no idea. I know he's been hurt, but he's still young. He should, have better recuperative powers than he's displaying. I don't know what's wrong with the guy. And by the same token, I look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a guy, when they drafted him, I figured, why'd you draft him? The first year, I figured, why'd you draft him? Part of last year, I figured, why'd you draft him? And now I wish Pittsburgh had him because he is the new Ben. He's the new Ben, maybe the old Ben. He ain't this Ben. This Ben ain't that Ben no more.
Hey, bravo. That felt pretty good. Wow. Hey, even with a tested IQ of 166, that had to feel good whenever that whole sentence got out there. That had to feel pretty
it flows. It just, even though, like I said in promoting this, I look like Nick Nolte's mugshot, it flows.
Yeah.
And Pat, you're with me on this. You cut a great promo, best promo in wrestling, although, who's coming up from behind?
Oh.
It's like Rodgers and Mahomes.
Oh.
Don Callis.
Oh,
Don Callis crossing over between Impact
TNA,
and AEW.
Oh, yeah,
he's coming up on the outside. It's down to Callis and McAfee. I love it. I wish you guys could go head to head. And hey, the way AEW works with everybody, maybe you will someday.
Snoop Dogg, by the way.
They might feud with the champion of some indie fed in Des Moines at some point. but yeah,
people don't even know how big of a shit Madden just took.
What do you mean?
You just took a massive shit on somebody there, and you're just flowing. Go ahead, just keep it
Des
going.
Moines?
No, not in Des Moines. Who you're comparing them to? Yeah, I think people that don't.
I love Impact. I think Don is the best. Like, except for you, and I'm not, blowing smoke. He's such a great promo, great wrestling mind. I love to see it. I just question how much it does the Jaguars owners promotion good. I think there's one-way traffic in helping who's getting help there. But, whatever. It's only wrestling. Nobody wants me. Although I'll tell you what, I would be a brilliant. It's funny because I've worked in wrestling for 20 years, as you know.
Yeah.
And there's a good reason for that. I wasn't very good and no one likes me. But I would be great as the Impact color commentator spewing anti-AEW stuff.
Oh, there we go.
I would be brilliant as that.
There you go. Why don't we put you in there? I'm sure.
That's where WWE should have hired me. They should have hired me when WCW, they did the war as the pro WCW color commentator. Arn Anderson, he's on there. I love Arn. Great talker. He's on there, doing regular wrestling color commentary. I'd have been on there saying, look, the WCW world champ's always been the world champ. This WWE world champ, I saw Bruno. He's no champion, okay? We've always had the real champ.
Jesus.
That's how you talk when you're trying to ignite stuff like that.
Yeah, well, you just buried Bruno Sammartino, too, in the middle of nowhere there. He didn't deserve that. I mean, that good Italian guy from Pittsburgh.
He and I didn't get along, Pat. You know that.
Oh, why? Because he's Italian?
It would take no, I love Italians, please. It would take me too long to tell the story. But I think it says a lot about me, perhaps bad, but I will hold a grudge against you even after you're dead.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Madden. He's the new Ben, who isn't necessarily the old Ben. That isn't this Ben, because that Ben has been gone for a long time or something. What a run by that man.
Poetry.
Golly. So it is. Everything's burning down in Pittsburgh. That's nice to get a little temperature check of what's going on, what's being said in Pittsburgh today.
Well, we realize that as true Steeler fans, and that's why Foxy's the only one who's still optimistic because he's never been in a situation like this.
Let's go to Jack in New Jersey. What's going on, Jack?
Hey, how you doing, Pat?
Hey,
Boys?
not too shabby, Jack. What do you want to talk about?
I'm a huge Steelers fan. Obviously, devastating loss last night. But I was wondering why all these commentators are comparing Josh Allen to Ben Roethlisberger.
Big, extended play, can throw the ball around, seem to win. That seems he's winning. That's probably the reason why. You got to remember, Ben Roethlisberger, whenever he came into the league, was an entity of himself, to himself. It wasn't he was a scrambling quarterback. He wasn't that. Okay, he wasn't like he was elusive, but he did extend plays. So there was always this conversation of, is Ben the new model? And everybody was like, should there be another Ben or can there another? It's like, if you find another Ben, you should definitely sign Ben. Ben was just this creature. He's so big. He could sling the ball around, look like a backyard football player, which Josh Allen looks like sometimes, to his detriment sometimes, but also to. Yeah. So I think that is why, because Ben is in his own class. You know, you got like Tom and Peyton, and I would say even Drew are kind of in their own class, okay? They kind of play football similarly. Then there's Aaron Rodgers is in his own, which, by the way, Patrick Mahomes is his style of player. So you go into that one. Whenever you talk about buckets of styles of quarterbacking, you can go Vic, right? Okay, Vic was his own entity all by himself. For a long, long time, he came in, set the world on fire. And I'm not going to say Lamar was in that bucket because Lamar played different. He had a higher QBR than Vic at certain times and all that stuff. But whenever you're talking about Roethlisberger, there's really hasn't been many people that have ever really fallen into that bucket. Just, okay, big-ass human who extends plays like backyard football. Josh Allen's in there. I don't think that's a knock on Ben or Josh. I think it's just they're two very similar players.
No, I think that's a compliment, and I think Andrew Luck had a little bit in his game too, similar to that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you would classify him, but he also had a little Aaron in
Correct.
there. So it's kind of like you'd probably place him into the Aaron category just because the running ability. Ben Roethlisberger was never a scorcher, you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
But he was always elusive somehow. And it was because that one drill that got out where they would throw bags and you're supposed to, keep the ball high and you're supposed to avoid them. And Roethlisberger literally just hit all the bags. That's what he did as a quarterback. I would assume his quarterback coaches hated coaching. He would go to like those quarterback camps and he would do none of it right. And they'd be like, who's your fucking coach? And his coach was like, I try to tell him. He just sits there and takes it, but that's why he's always hurt. That's why he is, but he's fucking good at football. Or is he broken?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Is he running into Drew Brees where, the arm at the end of the season, like Double was just saying?
He's broken.
I think it might be a something about Mary situation where he's going into the games with a fully loaded gun.
Because
he's
Let Ben beat.
Let Ben beat.
too much pressure.
I think Ben's going to have to want to beat,
True.
Because he and Jesus had that.
Yeah. He gave it up.
He said, hey, listen, no more seeds falling on to socks. No hands on my cock. Let's go to Brandon in Pittsburgh. What's going on, Brandon?
Hey, Pat. Hey, Foxy, why don't you go jump in one of those Michigan lakes and stay there, pal?
Brandon, what the hell?
It's a fellow Steeler fan.
Let's go to Cade in Alabama. What's going on, Cade? That was awesome.
Hey, Pat, I just want to say thank you to you and the boys for putting on the best show on the internet because as a struggling, stressful college student, you guys make the day a hell of a lot better.
Hey, it's an honor, pal. Just know this. The real world's not going to get any easier, all right? So let's go ahead and we'll be there for you whenever you get there as well. We appreciate the hell out of you, Cade. Are you down?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Are you Roll Tide downer? You Roll Tide?
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
Hey, Roll Tide down there. Roll some bitch Tide down there now. What do you want to talk about, brother?
I got a question for you and also another one for Ty. I know that a lot of people have been giving you shit, tagging you in the Carson Wentz coming to the Colts and all that stuff, but since you guys are more than likely, hopefully, you guys win a lot more games and you guys are later in the draft, would you be all right with the Indianapolis Colts selecting the potential Heisman winner Mac Jones late in the draft in the first round?
I enjoy Mac Jones the way he plays. I do believe he's the only one that can't really run that well, right? That's he's like the old, let's go back to the buckets. He's more like Tom, Drew, and Peyton, right?
Him and Kyle Trask are similar in that way, yeah.
And Kyle Trask, I think he can move a little bit.
Yeah,
I think Kyle Trask can move a little bit.
Not Joey B-ish.
But Mac is, he is
pocket.
And Sarkisian's offense. That they're running such a sophisticated offense down there in college. It's awesome to watch because I've always said this, not always, I guess, but I've been saying this for the past few years, and I said it even more so once I started commentating those Thursday night games. I think right now, at 33 years old, if I had, all the football knowledge that I have now, but still had, I think I could win Heisman as a quarterback in college, okay? Just with how elementary defenses are. Defenses in college, if you have any weapons at all, they're very elementary. Now, Clemson's defense will run a bunch, right? There's a couple of defense coordinators that really get going, but I think if you have limited football IQ, and you can throw the ball and move a little bit, I think you can have success in college, just because college defenses can't be as sophisticated as NFL ones, because there's a lot you have to do. Sarkisian's offense, they have so many motions that as soon as they put somebody in motion, Mac Jones immediately knows what the defense is in. And as soon as he knows what the defense is in, okay, he knows he's got this probably first-round draft pick over here that he could go to, this first-round draft pick that he can go over here, or we can hand the ball off to another first-round draft pick. The weapons in the sophistication of their offense, first college defenses, is awesome to watch. Awesome to watch. And I think Mac Jones will be a good NFL quarterback, obviously, but it depends on the situation he lands himself in. If he ends up in a spot that has a terrible offensive line, he's fucking dead. I mean, who knows? Daniel Jones, he could be one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Yesterday, he was dead. That guy was killed the entire time. So I don't know who Chris Ballard's going to decide to give the future of the organization to as a quarterback or whatever. Mac Jones has been a hell of a player. I just want to see his combine a little bit, see if that guy can run a little bit. Because I think in the NFL, if you see the pendulum is swinging back towards running a lot. You know what I mean? There's a lot of running going on. 167, 107 for Jalen Hurts yesterday. But then if you look at Cam Newton, they've been winning with him running 67, or with him passing for 67 yards. I'll be intrigued to see what the offense molds into in the NFL. I think you're going to have to be able to move a little bit, though. I think. I'm not 100% sure. I might be wrong.
Lamar, too. I mean, he's had 107 passing yards the past couple weeks, and they've, been getting the job done.
Kyler Murray, I think.
Yeah, Kyler.
There's been a lot of, and Baker. Yeah. He hasn't been throwing for like 300 yards. I don't even know. I guess he has a couple times.
Doesn't hurt Mac Jones that Devontae Smith is working his way into the Heisman conversation himself with all the touchdowns he's getting.
Well, Mac Jones, if he was to come to the Colts, good offensive line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Good running game.
This potentially is the place for Mac Jones to come. So roll Tide, I'll be with it. I get the fucking elephant out and do whatever you got to do.
Colts may be the last team you want to see in that wild card game.
Hey, Colts, now, I've said this a couple times where I said if they play good, they're really good. But I think for a couple of weeks now, they've started. And T.Y. Hilton's starting to become a real threat. Michael Pittman, Jack Doyle's getting hot. I mean, there is... Taylor. In that defense, statistically in the second half, they shut teams down. Eberflus will go in at halftime, know exactly what the other team's doing, and be like, all right, boys, this is what we got to do, and shut it down. So if they're in the game at half, normally they're going to win it in the second half. That's a team you want in the playoffs, by the way, is a second half team that can close things. I like the Colts, man. But the Chiefs are just so fucking...
Still, the Chiefs are the
Travis
standard.
Kelce is unbelievable. I know he's come on the show, friend of the show, very thankful for him. But he's mossing, folks. He was blocking somebody 30 yards down the field yesterday. I mean, it's been very special to watch it. Yesterday, he had 8 receptions, 134 yards, and a touch. I mean, that's unbelievable, dude.
I mean, Mahomes, he threw 3 interceptions yesterday, but he also threw for 394 and was like 24 of 34. Like, it's...
You know what was awesome? I thought it wasn't possible. Patrick Mahomes turn around sprint. I thought it was like the best play of all time. I thought there was going to be a new thing that they teach in quarterback camps. All right, what are you going to do? Okay, you're going to take the snap, and what you're going to do, you're going to sprint backwards just as far as you fucking can, and then whenever the defensive end gets tired, you'll run around them, and then you'll just throw it 70, 80 yards, and that'll pick up like 30, 40 yards at a time. And you'll have this guy named Tyreek Hill whose nickname is Cheetah because he is the human form of that animal, the fastest creature. Then you have Travis Kelce out there. So that'll be your move. You just go hut, and then you'll just sprint directly backwards. You will run backwards at first, and then you'll turn and sprint, and then you'll get around somebody, and then you could throw it so far it doesn't fucking matter, and it'll work every single time. I thought that was legitimately the cheat code because Patrick Mahomes had done it so much until yesterday. They fucking got him. They fucking got him at his own 4. It ended up being 4th and 41.
30-yard sack.
4th. That's what I'm saying. He literally sprints 30 yards. I've been talking about this play for a long time because I'm so intrigued by it. Nobody else really commentates on it. They don't talk about it whenever it's happening. He just runs backwards. He's in better shape than you are. Your defensive end's going to get tired, trip. He's going to go around. And then by that point, Tyreek Hill's been able to run for 10 seconds, so there's no way the corner can keep up with a goddamn cheetah. Touchdown, see you later. And then yesterday they got him, and I was like, whew. I guess you can stop it. I didn't think it was possible.
Even if they do that on like first down too, and it is like 2nd and 40, like they're still in good shape to pick up the first down and just keep moving it.
Does not matter. It was wild to watch him get sacked there. Yeah, it was 4th and 41 or something. I was like, so he just ran backwards 40 yards, and nobody talks about it. He'll do that like regularly. By the way, that is something that happens during games a lot. It was Wasp during the Super Bowl whenever they ran the Tyreek Hill post fade or whatever. It was the big play. He was sprinting backwards while doing that. It's like, Jesus, how many humans can do this? Not many.
Not very many.
No.
That's that bucket.
That's that bucket.
Yep.
He had what, a 7-yard touchdown or a 6-yard touchdown run yesterday?
How about that?
Pretty quick.
He did the ball stand thing. You know, but I noticed he slowed down. He didn't stop on a dime. He did let's go ahead and just
trot.
Slow it down here. No need to pop anything.
Yeah, Tannehill situation. Blow your knee out, jumping into the end zone.
Don't need it.
Yeah.
Don't need
Definitely don't need it.
Hey, that Titans team, whenever now it's the Jaguars, and Skycam played and Gardner Minshew played, and they looked bad from the whole thing. Derrick Henry, whenever he gets going, it's fucking outrageous. At NFL Research reports, most career games with 200-plus rush yards and 2+ rush touchdowns in NFL history. Derrick Henry has 4 of them already. Jim Brown had 3. Barry Sanders had 3. LaDainian Tomlinson had 3. So that's only going to grow, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Vrabel wears hats and face masks that say run the damn ball. Good for them. Let's go to Edie in Kansas. What's going on, Edie?
Yo, what's up, Pat and the boys? How's it going?
Hey, not too shabby. What do you want to talk about, bub?
The MVP race. Watched Pat Mahomes through 3 interceptions the other night, and Aaron Rodgers went off with an amazing game. We saw more running from him, too, during that game, but do you think Aaron Rodgers will get MVP this year?
We've been saying that for a long time. Long time. He's 3rd in the league in yards, so that's the only place where you can really deduct him or whatever. But 39 touchdowns, going to have 40 first drive of the next game, whatever. 4 interceptions in the whole season. 39-4 ratio, by the way. Pretty solid. 119.7 rating, which none of us know what that means. But he's, by all accounts, best football player on earth right now.
Yeah, for sure. I believe the all-time season record for passer rating is 122.5, which he set a couple years ago when he won MVP. But he's still what, plus 175? He's still an underdog. Nothing yesterday changed the odds that much. So we'll see. I mean, it's bullshit, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's go to Sal in Baltimore. What's going on, Sal?
Hey, Pat. I enjoy your show. Sorry, I'm eating my food right now, but
it's all right. You having a crab cake over there? Hey, Sal, so you eating a crab cake over there from Jimmy's Famous?
yeah, I'm eating a crab cake. It's my birthday today, so.
Oh, happy birthday! Yeah, you need to stay out of Jimmy's. Although those crab cakes are very good, they've been giving COVID to fucking everybody over there.
Yeah, but for my birthday, all I want is a nice Ravens W.
Okay, nice. Well, happy birthday, Sal. I think the Browns potentially win, but also maybe the Ravens get it done.
Maybe.
This feels like a game the Ravens could win, right?
Yeah.
It's been a while. The Browns, this feels like a game the Browns could lose. Browns should win, you'd think, even though, Ravens are favored by 3.
On the road.
In Cleveland. Cleveland's getting 3 points at home.
The disrespect.
Everybody, that means they want us to bet the Browns.
Took that personally.
Oh, shit.
Judon and Andrews back today.
Oh. Yeah, it feels like the Ravens probably win this one, huh?
Pretty big for them. Yeah.
That stinks for the Browns, too. I thought this was going to be the year.
Dang it.
Baker comes out baking. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bake.
There's just no reason the sports books would set it up this way if it wasn't going to go the other way.
Chandeliers.
A lot of them.
Chandeliers.
God damn it. Really wanted the Browns to go because Jarvis. It's a bummer.
Yeah, I know.
Hour 1 wrapping up. That's a bummer, man. I thought for sure the Browns were going to be favored there and have some sort of chance, but no.
Shame.
They're giving them 3 points at home. That means they want you to bet on the Browns, which means there's no chance. That sucks. Hour 1's wrapping up here on this Overreaction Monday, December 14th. We'll take some phone calls on the other side and break down yesterday's NFL action. You'll have about 6 minutes here whenever this thing goes off the air. That's enough time to go do a lot of things, including take a shit.
He's saying don't go off the top, it's too shallow.
All you're going to hear this stadium do is they put the big paw up, they start shaking it, they go, whoa. They're Yeah, he loves the defensive side of the ball. He said yesterday to me that this is a blue-collar team. They win it on special teams. They have 5 block kicks this season. The defensive side of the ball, Lynch leads the Big 12 in sacks. But also on the offensive side, Denzel Mims is an absolute animal. He is a weapon. Charlie Brewer, the quarterback from Lake Travis. His dad was a quarterback in Texas. Yeah. His grandpa was a quarterback in Texas. And the people here in Waco just so happen to get a chance to see Charlie Brewer on a daily basis. Hey. Yeah, Boomer here is going to mean a little bit different than what it means on the internet currently. And hopefully here in Baylor, they hope they're not hearing a lot of Boomer sooner. Everybody wants to be a punter, including quarterbacks. If I was a quarterback, I'd want to be a punter as well. 0 yards on that punt. That's an embarrassing situation. The Dak dance that gets on national television has led to a lot of losses, but you got to respect the hips being able to. What sign am I going to make for college game day? Well, I want to make something creative. I want to make something fun. No, to hell with it. I don't like OU. It's so thick. Look how thick that thing is. That's years and years of patience. You're headed right for the boat. Right now? Okay, let's do it. We are out here on the Brazos River, which you can take a boat to the game. One of the only stadiums in the country that you can do that. It's beautiful out here. A lot of people would say, this is the last time I'm going to be on game day. The last time I allegedly did what I'm about to do, I ended up in a jail cell. Let's go! The poop kicker's getting wet down here. A lot higher than I thought.
You look like Ric Flair. That was a sellout, by the way. That was beautiful.
Do we have any other shirts? Yeah, hold on.
You need to go get changed before you get sick.
Great work, Rush. I'm actually not that cold. Hey, I went for it. My chest hurts. It was like 5 feet. I was standing there. That's full commitment, by the way.
Okay. What's his pressure? Okay. Okay. Oh my God! Best sign spinner in the world! At least now he says, that was unbelievable. Bro, thank you for what you just did right there. What's your name?
Mike.
Mike, where are you from?
Right here in Los Angeles.
That was fucking awesome to watch. Good luck out there. They should be paying you more.
Tune in for the World Sign Spinning Championship in Vegas.
There's a World Sign Spinning Championship?
In Vegas.
Are you like a national, are you a champion?
I rank.
You rank? What do you rank?
I got 8th in the 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
What do we have to do to get better? How do we get to first place? What's the new move? What's the new move? Maybe light it on fire.
Yeah, well,
Oh! At least now! Oh my God! If I was getting to the end with the kickflip, I don't know how you're 8th in the world. You should be number 1. And if I was leasing a place, I'm fucking coming here. Oh my.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Overreaction Monday, December 14th. And hour 2 of this very dumb show begins right now. All the boys are here. At Tone Diggs, Boston Connor, Ty Schmidt, Foxy, and the gang are in the back there. And joining us on the couch, ladies and gentlemen, as of moments ago, Lord Zito.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Do you want to have the proclamation? Yeah, grab the proclamation. Zito's just been named a lord in Scotland, I believe. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
You broke the thing already.
I did, yeah. But I am a lord in Scotland. I bought land.
You bought land, which is, by the way, to become a lord in Scotland, all you have to do is buy land. Zito bought a plot of land that is 1 foot by 1 foot.
Yeah, Q558752 is mine.
Ooh, that's a good part.
Get that number
This
out.
is the old classic, like when you buy a star thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I could go visit that. I could
Yeah, the star too. You always know where it's at.
I could go to Scotland, though. I can't go to those planets or the stars.
There's humans allegedly inside Mars right now.
True.
Really? I
Galactic
think it's only a matter of time there. But I would assume that little foot of land right there,
1 by 1, yeah,
has been sold no less than what you think?
What do you mean?
100,000 times?
No. How much was it for the plot of
It
land?
was $50.
Oh, probably 200,000, 300,000 times.
More.
What do you mean?
What we're saying is we're just saying
You're
your
saying I can't
neighbors.
decorate my land?
No,
No,
you
no.
definitely could. Yeah, we think you should, but we're saying is we think your neighbors are going to be a lot closer than you think they're going to be.
Oh, that's fine. I
Yeah.
like neighbors.
Yeah, of course. We're thinking
have
maybe
4 neighbors.
that one plot of land
Problem is,
has potentially been recycled.
Yeah.
before.
No. There's only one Q558752.
You're right.
can
You're,
Zeke fit on a 1 by 1?
Oh, come on, dude.
yeah. He's going to stand. He'll do the
Tippy toe.
The ballerina thing.
Yeah, just stand like this.
nice.
Right here, right? You'll just stand one-legged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mean,
You should maybe spend the holidays there on your leg.
You guys want to come? Come on in, you know.
Is Scotland
There's
open?
something for all of us.
Scotland open or closed?
I think it's open.
It's probably open. We could go golfing.
They got to let all their lords in.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'll let you in.
congrats, Lord Zito.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I assume there's already been one of those accounts run by somebody who's terrible at social media that already says at Lord Zito with like all the other ones.
Oh, yeah, without question.
Yeah.
Look now. You'll probably find them.
Scumbags.
Yeah.
At the very least, they could have sent you like a fucking nicer picture frame so when
Yeah,
you pick the
bro.
thing up, it
I
doesn't
will tell you, it does
rip in
stand
two.
pretty well, though.
Or a picture of your land. That'd be cool.
Well,
yeah.
Nah, because that's
he just Googled plot of land in Scotland. I think it'll be that one.
It was kind of weird. My receipt went to New York.
Oh, really?
So it was actually really weird. I
Yeah.
checked my credit card statement. So
Interesting.
It must be like what do you call that building where it's like the Scotland's building only?
Yeah, well, it's in New Scotland in New York.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
HQ is for the
Hey,
US.
by the way,
Thanks.
congrats.
Lord Zito.
Boy,
Thank you,
Lord.
There's been overreactions all across the internet about what's going on with their football team. We had to make it a segment, obviously. Cannot wait to get to this. Ladies and gentlemen, hashtag Pat, I don't want to overreact, but...
I don't want to overreact, but...
Let's get to it. Lord Zito is now a lord, definitely, for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
He's going to get knighted soon, by the way. Shout out to the crown. Shout out to the crown, by the way.
You guys need anything? Let me
You're
know.
rolling through it.
I
deep in
am
it.
very deep in the crown right now. Very deep.
Princess Di showed up yet?
Yeah, well, that's last season. And I have seen her situation pop off a little bit because my wife is 3 seasons ahead of me. Because my wife started watching that show because she thought I wouldn't like the show, you know?
Yeah.
But now that we're, 10 months into this whole thing of not being able to go out in public and stuff like that, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I'll start watching series now. So I watched Queen's Gambit. That kind of piqued my interest in some other shit. So now I'm watching The Crown. It is good. It is good.
That royal family.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Philip, he's a real sack of shit. That guy.
Truly.
All right, let's get to the overreactions from the internet. This was trending within 5 minutes of us asking for your tweet, so we appreciate you. This one comes from Tone Diggs. If someone on the Steelers sees Juju going to one more fucking center logo, they should blindside bury him into the turf.
Whoa.
Diggs, that was your tweet that you sent in. Could have just said it on the show, but wanted to make sure it maybe got into this segment as well. The Juju dancing on the logo thing is not something you're very happy about, huh? It's not Pittsburgh.
Well, no, it's not. And it's not new for me either. But, like, I can't understand how, like, if Pouncey or Cam Hayward are out there and they see Juju doing that they don't go over and like, hey, man, could we just not do that? It's going to be a hard enough game anyways. We don't need any extra motivation.
Well, it's not, it's just such an interesting thing. Like, because the thought that, Juju goes, while doing it, he doesn't see anything wrong with it. Or maybe, by the way, that's his thing. Maybe he is just, maybe he's kind of like who's that guy that kind of looks like an elf that plays for the Bruins?
Oh, Brad Marchand.
Marchand. He loves being like a little pest.
Yeah, he's a rat.
A pest. He likes being a pest or whatever. Yeah, what if that's Juju's thing? He's like, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna dance on their logo, okay? I'm gonna spit on them. I'm gonna go ahead and do all these dances. Then, by the way, when I get the ball, I'm gonna run tough. I'm gonna block hard, which he does. Maybe that's his thing. Maybe we've been misreading Juju as this happy-go-lucky guy when really he wants to be a rat. Like that's what he wants to be, like the pest of the team.
That's fine, but like
because that's the only logical explanation for why you would dance on a logo and not feel bad about it at all. Like there would have to. If I'm going out to somebody else's logo, even to kick balls, like if I'm going out there to kick, I even sometimes feel bad. Like all right, I'll go off the logo, so I don't kind of shit on them. So if you're doing that on there, look, if you're doing the whole, and then you're even doing fast feet on the fucking, like at some point you got to know you're doing something. So maybe that's what, maybe Juju is like, hey, I want to be the instigator. Like I want them to come Harbaugh, Vrabel type thing. Maybe that's what it is. Or it's just completely oblivious. Oh, I got to get these TikToks in, dude. Need these views ASAP.
I think it's the latter.
Oh, that'd be a real shame then.
Well, that's what no one's talking about, though, is how fucking sick those TikToks are. I mean, the TikTok yesterday when he hits that foot fire.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah.
I don't know. All the middle know where he's doing like, we don't really know the TikTok.
He's kind of just dancing around.
But it does seem as if they're all very similar. I don't know. They all kind of, but whenever he hit the chop him.
It was awesome.
It was. You're right.
Yeah.
Electrifying TikTok made its way over to my platform, Twitter, and it was Juju hitting chop him on the Buffalo Bills logo right before a primetime game.
It is interesting that Buffalo is the first team to take offense of him dumping on their logo before the game. You'd assume more teams would have come out before, like, hey, this is bullshit.
He did in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Something happened in Dallas, I think. Well, actually, Dallas, they let Dalton get his head chopped off, and then
True.
Nobody even really cares.
Probably did in Baltimore, and that team. Oh, if a Harbaugh wasn't out there, they're not going to fight him.
Yeah, so it's starting to make more sense now that Buffalo's like not up in here.
Whoa.
We got no crowd to distract us from anything, okay? This is going to be eerily quiet in here. So if your fucking ass wants to go chop your feet on our logo, we're going to hear it and see it. Because there ain't nobody outside in this state. That's crazy, by the way. Only team in New York. Buffalo.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to fucking run some crowd noise too.
Yeah.
There was people last night, by the way, telling me that I was wrong for saying they needed crowd noise.
Who?
I don't know.
I don't like those.
Honestly,
They're
giving
dumb.
you appreciation.
What could you potentially like more about the no sound at all thing? Like, get it? Even if we all know it's fake, at least for a little bit, you can kind of disappear in there. You know what I mean? Those people that like the no sound at all last night, it's like a Laurel Yanni situation.
Yeah.
I could not see how you could like that at all. Like there's some food I'll try that I don't like, but I could be like, I could see how somebody could like this. With the people that are like, no, we like the no sound at all thing, like I don't fucking see how you can like that at all.
Need crowd noise.
Need something. And then the second half, they flipped the switch on, but they were fucking off a little bit. They had to get warmed up because there was some booze coming out of nowhere where I don't think they'd be booing. I'm not 100% sure. And if they wanted to be real, they would have had a robot out there slinging dildos on the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Are we trying to make this Bills Mafia or not? Unbelievable.
Step it up.
Let's overreact a little bit more. This is from Tristan James _37. Looks to be a big Raiders fan. Fire John Gruden. How about that?
Wow.
Jeez. Defense coordinator's already gone this morning. What's his name?
Paul Gunther.
Who?
Paul Gunther.
I thought of your guy, Gunner, whenever I saw that.
Gunner Olszewski?
Yeah, Olszewski, yeah. They fired defense coordinator. John Gruden's not going anywhere. He's still owed, what, $80 million maybe?
Something like that.
$90 million maybe. He's not going anywhere. I thought John Gruden, by the way, this seems to be the same path as their season was last year. Come out of nowhere, win some games, and then all of a sudden kind of at the end. Colts are a good team too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's not just automatically rule that out. Not like they lost to some sorry-ass team, like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm joking. You didn't deserve that. I'm a Steelers. I'm like kind of a Steelers fan, so it's like I don't mean that, but the Steelers do stink. It seems like.
Yeah.
Let's get to the next overreaction, shall we? At Dwayne Kerner, do we think Dwayne Kerner?
Yeah.
This is Dwayne Kerner.
Yeah, for sure.
What's up, Dwayne Kerner? Hashtag Pat, I don't want to overreact, but kickers don't deserve multi-year contracts. They break too randomly. See, en contraire, mon frère, okay, which means on the opposite point of opinion, my brother, I believe.
Okay.
I believe is what that means, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Man, sorry, feel pretty good about that. I think whenever you get an actual kicker that seems to not break, you need to pay him because all kickers are going to break, but some kickers can't get out of their broken stage as fast as others can. So that's the most interesting thing about why Vinatieri is the GOAT in my eyes, because not only did he kick in the biggest moments and come through. Now, I'm not saying other kickers couldn't have made the kicks that he's made, but whenever he's been asked to make the kicks, the biggest kicks in the history of the game, he's made them. Now, I'm not saying other people couldn't. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying Justin Tucker wouldn't have made those kicks. I'm just saying when Vinatieri was asked to do that, he did it. I'm not saying Justin Tucker doesn't kick as good of a ball. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying he's not as good percentage-wise and everything like that. But when you're a kicker, it is such a head game. Okay, everything's in between your ears. For somebody to be 20-plus years of just greatness on teams that go to the playoffs every single year, that is why I think he is the greatest. I think there's people that can catch him. I think Justin Tucker is on his way. I think there's other kickers that are on their way. But for 20-plus years, to get the yips in there somewhere, but be able to battle through it as quick as possible so it doesn't carry into another week or into another week is something that's so difficult. Dan Bailey right now is battling, okay? Sometimes your brain just tells you that you suck at kicking footballs, even whenever you are very, very good at kicking footballs. Somehow, some way, your brain figures out a way to convince you that what you're about to do is not going to be successful. And it's nothing like he's hurt. Maybe he's hurt. I'm not 100% sure. It's just your brain gets to a point where whenever you're dealing with something that you have to hit like an eighth of an inch spot on the ball in one particular fashion. That's why it happens to golfers as well, pitchers as well. When you're dealing with something that is so small for a success situation, anytime your brain can get in there and affect it a little bit, it can just start going bad. I'm not 100% sure how you get through it. I've had situations where I've kicked balls bad, but I'm literally just so dumb that I just get mad. I'm like, well, I don't want to feel like that anymore. So then I stop feeling like that. I've had a couple in my life. I've been able to get through them. But some guys, it really gets them. And that's why you see the kicker carousel. That's why you see a lot of old kickers that have been in the league trying out for new teams, because the reason why they probably left their last team is because something happened like this where they couldn't get out of it. Then somehow in their own practice, in their own training, maybe they go on a vacation, get away from things, start doing that. They figure out how to kick a ball again. Then they're back. It's like, okay, now you're working out again. It's happened to Graham Gano numerous times. Now he's unbelievable with the Panthers. He was unbelievable with the Giants. He was unbelievable with the Panthers. He was unbelievable with the Washington football team at one point. It's just one of these things that happens with kickers, and it sucks for everybody involved. It sucks for the kicker. It sucks for his teammates, obviously, his coaches, his family, the fans, and there's literally, you have no idea how to get out of it other than just hoping that the switch is flipped once again, and it sucks for Dan Bailey, but whenever he jogged out there for a couple of those kicks, I think everybody on earth, except for Zimmer, knew there was no shot that ball was going on. And there's nothing you can say to him either. There's nothing anybody can say to Dan that's going to help Dan get out of his own head. You just can't happen. It is a terrible situation to be in. Absolutely terrible.
It happened to Gostkowski this year at Denver, and then he went on to win Player of the Week like 2 games later.
Exactly. There just gets a point where you start to doubt yourself. And I don't know why it happens. It just happens. And then I think there's something called imposter phenomenon or something like that. If you look it up, it's where your brain basically, you start to believe that you don't deserve to be where you're at or something like that. It's just like these things that people get into that are it's tough. And I've always been too stupid really to buy in. So that's really good news.
Imposter syndrome.
What's that?
Imposter syndrome.
There it is. Yeah. I started looking that up yesterday as I was thinking about this. I was like, I assume there has to be some sort of prescribed.
Prescription for it?
Prescribed situation that's happening in between years.
Diagnosed.
Yeah, there has to be like a diagnosis for this because too many people feel it, even at the highest of levels. I've never talked to Vinatieri about it. I was never around Vinatieri whenever he went through any situation like this, and I never really went through it whenever I was with him, so it wasn't like I could have that moment with him. But that's why I think he is the guy, because for so long he was able to whatever. That's the biggest part of kicking and punting. There's a lot of people that can kick the ball far. There's a lot of people that can punt the ball far. But in between your ears, whenever you have to, can you defeat your brain basically to let it happen? It's wild. That's why Mason Crosby's so fucking impressive.
I was going to say, to your point, too, about like extending these guys, you mentioned it earlier. He had that like 4-game span or whatever. He missed like 4 field goals against the Lions a couple years ago. Like I always think about if they would have cut him after that year, like, you know, and then seeing what he's done since then, it's like that they would have been in a bad spot and just reinserting themselves in the carousel and hoping that you find a guy who's going to be able to replace him.
And that's kind of what the Titans were doing with Gostkowski, by the way. Vrabel was like, listen, we're going to have to sign somebody new anyways. We have no idea if this person's going to be good either. Let's just assume that Gostkowski, who's a multiple-time Super Bowl champ, will be able to get through this. Even though none of us are happy. Vrabel was like, even though he knows he's got to be much fucking better, let's see if he can get through it. I think that's why the certain kickers, you're like, okay, this person is proved. Boswell went through an entire year.
First season, then he bounced back.
You know what I mean? But the whole season, I thought there was a chance he was never getting out. And then he came out next year, he was like almost perfect. So it's tough, man. It's tough. I don't even know what you tell Bailey. I got a text from somebody last night who was hilarious. It was hilarious text. It was like, you think Dan Bailey just kind of gets in an Uber and goes to a commercial flight this one? You think? You think he just flies himself home here? You think he kind of stays away from the rest of the team or whatever? I was like, hilarious thought. But going back into the locker room, I've had to walk back into the locker room after missing a couple kicks. You just feel so embarrassed in front of everybody because you're like, listen, I was there for the workouts, okay? I was there when we were all puking. I was there for us. Because that game yesterday, by the way, massive game. And if he has, I think he left 10 points on the board or whatever. That's a whole different ball game, that whole thing. But that was playoff implications as well. We're all buying into this. I mean, there's nobody that feels worse than Dan Bailey right now. But there's literally, I don't know how, there's nothing where you can be like, all right, if you knock twice on this door, then you go ahead and do 50 biceps and then you hit a couple squats, your brain should be good and you should know how. There's like no actual steps of recovery on how you fix yourself. You just got to hope you do it.
Just keep swinging.
Hey, your next stroke's your best stroke, baby.
Right.
Hey, next stroke's your best stroke, Dan. Unless it's not, then that next one is going to be awesome.
Well, it might not be Dan, it might be the imposter, Dave Bailey.
Oh,
in
yeah.
that case, you
Probably
just kind
smart.
of have to switch over to Dan.
Well, you know, when Dave and Dan really start tag teaming those footballs, who knows where the fuck they're
Sky's
going.
the limit.
Let's get to another one. Overreaction, please. At Roy Bondi, also known as Rugi, hashtag Pat, I don't want to overreact, but after yesterday, I have reason to believe Doug Peterson has it out for Wentz. Yeah, this was one I alluded to earlier. There's that one photo. Do we have that photo? We should probably try to find that photo. I think it was in the group text, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Yep. Where Doug Peterson's side-eyeing Carson Wentz, and it was just a moment in time. Carson Wentz was talking to Doug Peterson while Doug Peterson was talking to Jalen Hurts. I assume Carson Wentz was potentially given maybe, you know, his input or something like that. And there's a side eye from Doug Peterson, and it was intense to think about. That whole team played better football yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about Carson Wentz now. I'm really wondering about him because you had Fletcher Cox coming out and supporting him, Jason Kelsey coming out and support. There it is. There it is right
Smirking.
there. I mean, that photo is a wild one. Jalen Hurts just kind of hanging out. They're up 7-0 early. Nobody thought that was going to happen. Somehow they got up even more early, 17-0, I think, at one point. I mean, that game was nothing like we thought it was going to be with Jalen Hurts. That Saints defense is so goddamn good. I thought, and there was many people that thought that potentially Doug Peterson was throwing Jalen Hurts into the fire to show everybody, like, is this what you want? Is this what you want? And maybe he did. And then in the middle of the game, he was like, oh, this is what we want. This is what we want. Jalen Hurts, by the way, I'm not saying he immediately dropped in there and was fucking, you know, Aaron Rodgers or anything like that. But he played great football, smart football, inspired football. And the rest of the team played really well. Jalen Hurts, a rookie in his first start there, gets a big dub against the fucking NFC favorites, New Orleans Saints. I mean, that is a huge game. That is a huge win. And now the Carson Wentz situation, Doug Peterson situation, is only going to continue to grow louder and louder as this year goes on if they don't make the playoffs. Okay, and Jalen wins a couple games here late. Then the question is going to be, what if Jalen was starting all season? They definitely would have won the NFC East, especially with how bad the NFC East was. If they could have picked up 2-3 games earlier in the season, they would have walked away with the NFC East home playoff game. We win that, then all of a sudden, who knows what's going to happen? So then this is only going to grow louder and louder, especially with the amount of money that Carson Wentz is owed. What's going to happen with Doug? I mean, that is a wild situation, and it only got even crazier with how damn good Jalen Hurts played yesterday.
I mean, they could win out. They have the Cardinals, the Cowboys, and Washington. It's not unthinkable.
Hey, the Cardinals are all the way back.
Really?
That D-line's playing football, dude. That D-line's playing football. And listen, I tweeted that the Giants O-line stinks. Okay? We got to remember that an offensive line only stinks if what? The defensive line's just deboning them. So maybe we should give a little bit more credit to the Cardinals. Last one here, the overreaction, Foxy. This is from Syra Haas. Hashtag Pat, I don't want to overreact, but Washington football team is the comeback story of the year. 1-5 start. Coach battled cancer. 3 different starting quarterbacks. Then the quarterback almost lost his leg, bested the undefeated Steelers. Shout out Steelers. And now they've won 4 in a row to top the NFC East. Hashtag Rivera strong. Hashtag Washington football. Hey, Syra. You're 100% right.
Well said.
Well said.
Syra.
I can't believe those 240 characters, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was maybe the best usage of the Twitter character limit that I've ever seen in my entire life. Got 3 good hashtags in there. Okay, 3 hashtags that have all trended at one point, all in there. Plus an entire story about why a team potentially deserves a goddamn movie.
And punctuation.
And good
apostrophe. It's
punctuation.
insane.
I mean, that was an incredible tweet, obviously. Wow. But she's right. Alex Smith yesterday, by the way, they're working on that right leg again. That scares the hell out of you. Anytime they're bending his hamstring, which is supposed to be a shin, I guess, that's a little bit weird. Dwayne Haskins gets in there. He's okay. He made a couple plays, missed a couple plays, but they still end up getting a dub. I mean, the Washington football team is on its way now. With the Giants forgetting how to play football and the Eagles potentially having a quarterback. I mean, the Washington football team and the Eagles are going to have to battle down the line here. But that Washington football team, good story. Hey, it's a good story. Expose's coming out against it, changing the whole culture, new president, new team name, new leg for a guy. Yeah. I mean, that Washington football team is a good story.
Their defensive line is incredible.
Chase Young.
Beast.
I had no idea what type of NFL guy he was going to be, obviously, because he was in college. It was every other play he had a sack or something like that, because he would just, those tackles had zero chance. I mean, absolutely zero chance against him in college. But it's like in the NFL, you're playing against grown men now. Hey, these guys are trying to feed their families. Will you be able to just do whatever you want? Then you see some of his training videos. You're like, oh, yeah, this guy's going to be like one of those guys. And then it turns out he is. And there's no moment too big. Seems like he loves the game, by the way, which is a big deal. Seems like he likes being a part of the Washington football team entire program change. I mean, that guy was a gift up there. What'd they get him at, number 2?
Yep.
Same as Bosa the year before. It's a nice little spot to pick at the end.
Yeah, if you get Ohio State defensive end at number 2, you take them.
Yeah, looking good.
Trends are saying you take them. 24 minutes into the second hour here on this Overreaction Monday, December 14th. We have to get to a break. Michael Lombardi will be joining us on the other side. Cannot wait to chat with him on what he saw from that Buccaneers team. He knows Tom Brady better than anybody. A couple misses yesterday. Was that because of the bye? Or what was? And how about this Chiefs team, Michael Paisan? How do you feel about this Chiefs team? Why can't they fucking cover anything? They're only favored by 3.5 or something going down to New Orleans next week.
Interesting.
That seems like an early line we should potentially try to take advantage of, but why is it like that? All things coming from Michael Lombardi's massive football brain on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Overreaction Monday, December 14th.
Hi, how's it going? My name is Pat McAfee. Used to hold balls for Adam Vinatieri. Now I'm in his home state. College game day is absolutely electric. In Brookings,
College game day has made the voyage to Brookings, South Dakota to experience a game with the best fans in college football. I unfortunately cannot attend because I have a game this Sunday, so I sent a man I trust to make my picks. A man who is my holder for almost a decade. Please be nice to him. Welcome this week's celebrity guest picker, Pat McAfee.
Go big, go blue, go Jacks.
Hosting Auburn
Yes, everybody saw this. The best fake punt in the world. What do you think, Pat? I absolutely loved it all the way up until execution time. That is not one we like to show in the brand headquarters and punting and kicking world. Oh, dance off. Oh, let's get weird. Yes. Duck that, huh? Bang! Right off the top of the dome. That makes it a lot easier when you got a dummy standing right in front of you like that. Running. He's High Daniel Russo. Wax on, wax off. Knee to the face. Yes. Serious. Go. Yes.
These teams stink. With that 15, they celebrate by doing shotguns. And I know they figured it out. I'm going with the University of Virginia Cavaliers. That was great. Whoa! I will never, ever in the history of my life cut against that ball. Oklahoma State is a win here. Not so fast again.
But I'm going with Trey. Please excuse my dumb friend Kirk. Look at this crowd. They've been out here since 4 a.m. College game day comes to town. They lose their mind. The population of this state is about 800,000. And when the Jackrabbits take the field, they're alongside all 800,000 South Dakotans. The Dakota marker was in Fargo for far too long. Today, 5 o'clock local time, the Dakota marker is back in beautiful Brookings, South Dakota. Elementary school. They might be the Jackrabbits, but they're the Goats today. Ladies and gentlemen, South Dakota State with the win. Give me that by head. No. Don't do that. No. Lee. Colts. He has the Pat says it'll be no.
I told you I came on your radio show that we were going to get you on College Game Day.
Not only are you incredibly intelligent and handsome, you're a man of your word. You picked North Dakota today, so I had to bury you.
That's okay.
But it's been nothing but incredible. The College Game Day crew is hospitable. In South Dakota State, I think we can all agree, they showed up here.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I've watched the show, obviously, forever. And it's on in every single NFL locker room. I told you that.
Yeah, cool.
So this is a big-time deal for me, my family, my friends.
All right, I'm back in the day here.
Appreciate you, boys.
It's from the training room of the Colts. A.J. Watt tweeted. I get texts from every human that I've ever done television with, like since way back in the day. They're like, we knew this day would come. Equipment managers, old teammates. I mean, you don't get to trend on Twitter often anymore. They make it damn near impossible. Go up onto a stage with a couple legends, talk some shit in front of the incredible South Dakota fans. What an awesome opportunity. I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Welcome back. This song's very good, by the way.
Yeah.
If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell us that running a business is tough. But you might be making it harder on yourself than necessary. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. It's time to upgrade to NetSuite. Ooh. Stop paying for multiple systems that don't give you the information you need when you need it. Ditch the spreadsheets and all the old software you've outgrown. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place instantaneously. Whether you're doing $1 million or hundreds of millions in revenue, save time and money with NetSuite. Join the over 20,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Wow. Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/Pat. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/Pat. That's netsuite.com/PAT. Shout out to NetSuite.
All right.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here. Overreaction Monday, December 14th. If you're a business owner listening to this show, you should probably be doing something else.
Yeah.
But if you are listening to this show, you know what I mean?
Probably. Yeah.
This show is making your business worse. I can promise you that. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you listening. Let's not get too crazy here. I appreciate it. But if you're a business owner listening to this show, I would assume we make your business worse on a daily basis. Let us make your business better at netsuite.com/Pat. That's That's coming around full circle there. Zito, what is your poll? Sorry, Lord Zito.
Thank you.
What is the poll for the day? And I would like to get our guest thoughts on this. Diggs would as well for the poll. I'm excited to hear the results of the people and then the results from our guest, who's a former NFL general manager and a coaching consultant to the greatest coach of all time and an author and all this other shit. I would like to hear his thoughts as well, Zito.
Yeah, so today is who is the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC? Right now, last place, Browns at 9.6%, Steelers 11.2%, Titans 17.6%, and the Bills 61.6%.
Joining us now is the host of the Lombardi Line, co-host of Hammer Down, former general manager, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
How we doing?
How you doing, Paisan? Did you see that poll? How do you feel about that poll with the AFC? Who do you think is the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC? Steelers, Bills, Titans, Browns. Bills are running away in a landslide, over 18,000 votes, 61.6%.
Look, I think it's got to be the Bills because they can play. They can for point, and I think that they'll slow it down. But I just don't know if there's anybody. I mean, the Bills decided when they played them in Buffalo a few weeks back to let the Chiefs run the ball, and the Chiefs played good defense in that game. I thought last night, what we saw from Pittsburgh against Buffalo is going to be the one thing Buffalo is going to have to overcome is anytime Josh Allen gets a lot of pressure, makes him hurry up. I thought he played well last night. I'm just saying, I think they're going to constantly pressure Josh so that they can take away some of these accurate throws that he's been making and make him kind of revert back. So I think Buffalo's the best one. Do I think they can beat them? No.
Okay, so do you think anybody can beat the Chiefs right now in the AFC, or do you think that they just decide when they want to win and when they don't want to win? That's kind of been their thing now for the last, year and a half almost, because it wasn't until about halfway through last season, maybe 7 games into last season, I think they really learned who they were, and it was whenever they want to win, they can win, and they show that whenever they want, however they want. Is there anybody in the AFC you think that can fuck with the Kansas City Chiefs?
No, because I thought Miami would give him a better game now. I know Tua wasn't great, and he got 178 yards in the fourth quarter. He got 14 of his 27 first downs in the fourth quarter. The Chiefs played 2 quarters against Miami, and they played the second and the third quarter, and they got up 30-10. And they had enough of it. They kind of got bored, and they let Miami to come back in to do a backdoor cover. But that game was not 6-point close no matter how you watched it. It was never that. And I think that they've yet to play a 60-minute game from the beginning to end. And, some of the mistakes I think were kind of self-inflicted mistakes, tip ball, overthrow. I just think they're a hard team when a team can play left-handed and right-handed, which the Chiefs have proven this year they can do. I just don't know what formula there is to beat them.
I love Flores' team, by the way. I love that Dolphins team. Now, I hate that they backdoor covered for the people that bet on the Dolphins and all that bullshit.
Right.
Because, that was a heartbreaker for me, Paisan, for sure, with my Chiefs. I mean, I had a rough day yesterday, game. Well,
so, I benefited from that on the Miami pick, and then I got it taken away from me on the Detroit. See, I think what happens so often is with a lot of these coaches, they feel like they've got to score a touchdown, and they leave no time on the clock to get the onside kick. When you're in a 2-score game, you've got to take the field goal when you know you can make the field goal.
Yeah, Flores.
That's what Flores did. And then the game's always going to come down to the onside kick. So he did that. Then Detroit did the same thing, and I lost that bet.
Yeah, and I've always thought that's the right move, by the way, because a Hail Mary you can get from much further than you can a field goal. So if you're going to have to get 10 points, you might as well kick the field goal as soon as you get in the field goal range and then leave yourself more time to get the touchdown that you need on the back end. But a lot of coaches, by the way, for a long time didn't do that. It was always very intriguing to me. But I like the way Flores coaches. I think they're a damn good team. But that Buffalo Bills team is running away with the AFC East now, and the Patriots have somehow found a way to almost be in the hunt now at this case. I mean, I think we're, week 15 is about to come up or whatever, and we still have a lot of questions on that AFC side of who is potentially going to get steamrolled by the Chiefs.
Yeah, when you watch Pittsburgh, I just think Pittsburgh's a shell of themselves. Their offensive line's not playing very well. Ben doesn't throw the ball down the field. The last 3 games, he's never made it close to 6 yards per attempt down the field. It's hard. They've had a hard time moving the ball, and defensively they have so many injuries that it's limited what they can do. They're like, to me, they remind me of New England last year. They're kind of running on fumes. They were great early, and now they're running on fumes late in the year. I love Tennessee, but do I think Tennessee's defense can control the game and get Kansas City off the field? The answer to that is no. They got 0 sacks yesterday against the Jacksonville Jaguars, so they can't really pressure. Cleveland, I think, has got the ability to pressure Mahomes. Can they cover him? I don't know, but can they actually really run the football effectively? That remains to be seen. You know, for me, I just think the Chiefs, when they put their mind to it, the way they throw the football, because everywhere else on their team, I don't think they're dominant in any area other than they're just so uniquely talented throwing the football.
I mean, the team you just omitted there was the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, have a little respect. I mean, geez.
Yeah, no, and I look, but I think the Colts, again, you know, they gave up 14 in the first half yesterday, so now it's been 28, 35, 20, and 14 in the first half. So, and they got that game under control because the Raiders defensively firing Paul Gunther, like it's really Gunther's fault. They're light on the edges. They can't handle the run. You know, to me, the Raiders have as much personnel problems as they do scheme problems. That was a good win for the Colts, though.
People are saying Gruden should be fired. We got somebody that tweeted us earlier, fire Gruden. He's what, $30 million into a $100 million contract. There's no way that.
Look, Gruden's the GM. I mean, I know Mike Mayock has that title, right? But Gruden, everything they do there is based on what Gruden wants. So when he starts throwing guys off the boat, it's just like, okay, you didn't want these guys, John? You didn't say okay to Colin Farrell? You didn't want, Abrams, the safety? Like, seriously, this is your program. And it's going to make for a good Daily Coach article, because when you as the leader fire people that have worked with you and part of the decision, you're firing a piece of yourself.
Yeah, and by the way, to his credit, some people can't get past that and continue to ride along with a bad decision. So maybe that's here nor there. The Daily Coach, I subscribe, daily newsletter that I get in my email every single morning. It gives me a little motivation to start my day. I appreciate you for that. Let's talk about the NFC. Tampa Bay comes off a bye week, gets a win over the Vikings, but I don't think we got a lot of answers to the questions on whether or not the Bucs are going to be a team or not. Do you think so?
Well, I've said on my show, the Bucs play too much defense, right? They were averaging in the last 4 weeks playing 32, 33 minutes of defense. For me, in the NFL today, the way to play good defense is to play less defense. And yesterday, the Bucs played 39 minutes of defense because they really didn't convert third downs. Their team couldn't control the game, nor control the pace of the game. I think this was a game of Minnesota missing field goals and missing opportunities. They held the ball 39 minutes. They're 5 for 15 on third down. They get sacked 6 times. I was not impressed with Tampa's offense coming out of the bye week. They won the game. But to me, I think there was still a lot of question marks about their team.
They let Rojo run the ball, which is good news. He ran for 80 yards, 18 carries, which is good for them to run the ball a little bit more. But I don't think there was any answers given yesterday in that game where you're like, you know what, I like the Bucs. Now, I think there's a massive question also in the NFC South with the Saints. They lose to Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday. In the Saints and Taysom Hill, he took a massive step backwards from the week before playing quarterback. I don't know what the defense, by the way, letting Jalen, I mean, he didn't score that many points, I guess, but still, I think Jalen Hurts had a lot more success against that Saints defense than anybody thought. And then obviously on the offensive side wasn't that great either. Are you sold on the Saints, or do you think the NFC is wide open right now?
Count me as one of those persons that is disappointed in the Saints. I mean, I don't know what Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator of the Saints, was thinking. I mean, like, did he think that Hurts wasn't going to run the ball? To allow Hurts and that Eagle offense to basically run the single wing in that game and win and beat you is kind of disappointing. You got defensive ends running up the field. You don't contain the quarterback. He leads the team in carries with 18, gains over 100 yards rushing. You're not going to beat anybody. The only way you lose that game if you're New Orleans is you lose that game if the Eagles can run the ball. And that's what they did. So Hurts played well. He played with poise, but he ran the single wing. Let's be real honest. He didn't really beat him throwing the ball. He beat him with his legs. I don't know if he can do that on a continual basis. The Saints always seem to have one of these kind of games every year, where we question how good they really are on defense. Are they talented enough? And they look like they laid a big egg yesterday. And then when they don't get Kamara involved, and they haven't been doing this lately, they're not the same offense.
Yeah, the stats all say that, by the way. And there's some people, I think, saying, like, oh, maybe they're resting him for down the road. That's why he's not having a game or anything like that. Well, they're in the middle of a pretty big battle for a pretty important seed, especially this year in that whole thing. Whenever you think about the Saints, whenever you think about next week, they're hosting the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are only favored by 3.5 points. Is that because you think Drew Brees is potentially coming back, or what do the books see that we don't see right now? Because it's at 4 now. It's at 4 now. What do the books see that we are not seeing for that Chiefs-Saints game next week? Because I guess you could say it's going to be a bounce-back game after what happened against Philadelphia. But I think what I saw in Philadelphia makes me think like, oh, the Chiefs, if the Chiefs want to, the Chiefs will be able to do whatever the fuck they want.
I think they see a game like Carolina played them. That Carolina ran the ball, made some plays, held the ball for almost 39 minutes in the game, and had the ball at the end of the game with a chance to kind of win the game. I think that's the way you have to, if you're going to if this is under a touchdown and you're playing the Chiefs, that's how you visualize the game. It isn't because of home field advantage. It isn't because you like the matchups. I mean, there was no better matchups yesterday than the Miami secondary against the Chief receivers if they would have doubled Tyreek Hill and just tried to take away Kelsey. But, they didn't quite do that all the time. So I think this is one of those where they think the Chiefs will allow the Saints to move the ball and maybe control the ball, and that's why they have it under a one-score game.
Michael, despite winning the division yesterday and being in the driver's seat in the NFC right now, and Aaron Rodgers playing better than he has in a really long time, with how inconsistent the Packers' defense and special teams is, do you think that's really going to be an issue with them as we get into the playoffs here?
Yeah, I do. I think, I think, yesterday they were playing nickel against Detroit. And, I don't know, sometimes I don't understand what they're doing when they're out there trying to run their defense. And they never really get control of the game because they never stop the other team. Now, Detroit didn't run the ball yesterday, but you never felt like they got, even though they were in control of that game, it shouldn't have been a 7-point game. That should have been a 17-point win for the Packers. Yep. Mm-hmm. I always worry about the Packers because defensively, when they go against a good offensive coordinator, whether it's the Saints again, whether it's the Rams, I think they're going to have trouble.
Oh, man. It's tough, too, because this is what happened last year, right? They get to the NFC Championship game, and then defense can't stop anybody over there in San Fran, and then all of a sudden they're sent home one game before a big Super Bowl, and they made a lot of adjustments this offseason, so that'll make you feel good, about that. Another run. Lombardi, they made a lot of adjustments over there in Green Bay this offseason to make their team better, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
That's right. That's right. Shit. They did nothing, Paisan.
Their adjustment is, hey, Aaron, why don't you go win the game? And make sure we win enough so I can get votes of the year for coach. Like, seriously, Jones is spectacular. And how anybody doesn't double cover Devontae Adams is beyond me. What drives me crazy about the NFL is every position has a letter, right? There's the X receiver, the Y receiver, the Z receiver. But I can tell you, Tyreek Hill, if he's the X, he's different than another player who plays X for another team, right? Yeah. So that's Tyreek Hill or that's Devontae. I'm doubling Devontae Adams when he gets off the bus. I'm not letting him beat me. And it's the same thing with Tyreek Hill. But some coaches, they just run their scheme and Aaron finds guys and makes plays. I mean, the guy's playing at such a high level that if they gave him a little help, especially defensively, if they could control the game with their defense, they don't rush the passer like they used to either.
Mike, as Ty just angrily said into the mic that he's been saying that for 10 years as an owner of the Packers. Mike, as a former general manager, how come general managers, some of them are like, hey, let's go. I'll make the moves. I'll do what we got to do. We talked to Bean of the Buffalo Bills. He said last year they were looking for a weapon for a couple of different wide receiver or two. And he said whenever he learned of Stephon Diggs and the Vikings potentially being in a beef, he reached out. He was like, hey, is there anything we can do here? How come some GMs are so dead set on just a slow build? Like, for instance, the Packers, Gutekunst, he's preparing for 5 years down the road when they were just in the NFC Championship. How come, and what type of GM were you, and why and how hard would it be as a GM not to be like, okay, I'm going to fix what we need right now so that we can win next year? How hard is that? Because I feel like that is what I would expect out of my general manager and what I would want to do. But it feels like a lot of places like Gutekunst just don't do that.
Well, not a lot of GMs, me included, didn't have complete authority to do whatever you wanted to do. Okay. So you got to jump through hurdles to get something done. Hell, as a GM of the Browns, I couldn't draft a kid in the 7th round without approval. So it's hard to do things. Sometimes it's hard to do things, but I think there's a lot of bias that goes into these decision makings. I think the number one thing that hurts general managers in the National Football League, and it helped Bean, is they don't misevaluate their own team. When Bean made a bad trade with Kelvin Benjamin, he didn't blink. He went back and tried to make another trade. I think you get gun shy and you always misevaluate. You think your team's better than it really is. The Raiders must think their defense is better than it really is, or else why would you fire Gunther on a week when you're playing on Thursday night? Like, seriously, it's not solely a scheme problem. You got bad players. And so I think you misjudge your team, and I think that's why teams don't make trades. Oh, we don't want that guy. He's no better than what we have. No, seriously, sometimes when you bring in somebody from the outside to look at your team, I mean, I'm on Chicago radio every Wednesday. I've been on it for the last 3 years, every Wednesday, and I've been talking about how bad MVP Mitch is, and yet they keep playing MVP Mitch.
Whoa.
Show them the numbers, baby. Show them the numbers.
Trubisky, 24-33, 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, highest passer rating, but higher than Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. They played the slow game. They played the slow game.
Pick up his 5th-year option, and we'll have this conversation.
What do you got?
Please do it.
Mike, do you see any of the teams on the bubble getting in, or are the playoffs set now as they are?
You know, I don't. I think it's look. I think the NFC is going to be. Washington's got to win 2 games, right? And Washington's a hard team to play now with that defense. And I know they don't have any offense, but I think if Washington went to go play Tampa, they'd beat Tampa. There's teams that they're going to play Seattle this week. It's a playoff game. Seattle will have a hard time moving the football on them because they're going to put pressure on Seattle's offensive line. So now, can they move the ball in Seattle? They kind of make it look ugly, but sometimes they get 2 or 3 drives, and that's all they really need. So I don't know, like Chicago, seriously, they're not a playoff contender.
What do you mean?
Whoa.
I don't think Arizona is.
Yeah.
At 7-6, Arizona's got to play Philly this week. Do you think they can beat Philly?
No.
That's a hard one for me.
Yeah, here's the NFC playoff picture. The division leaders, obviously, the Pack, the Saints, who knows what's going to happen with that. Is Drew Brees back next week? It didn't feel like it from all the reports. Taysom Hill's going to have to bounce back. The Los Angeles Rams, 9-4, and then the Washington football team, 6-7. The Giants were in the hunt there until yesterday. Their offensive line forgot how to block a single soul, and Daniel Jones got his ass beat. Now the Philadelphia Eagles with Jalen Hurts are in the move, but that Washington football team with that D-line, that's just like if they were to play the Rams, and you might have just said this while I was trying to contemplate this entire thing, that defensive line can keep them in games, I think. And it's insane that we're at this point because that Washington football team looked like they were in complete demise just a few weeks ago. Then some things start turning around. Here we go, get some wins, and the NFC East all of a sudden is potentially going to win a playoff game.
They're going to be hard to play. I promise you, nobody wants to be the 5th seed and have to play them. If they're the 4th, nobody wants to play them. They're going to be hard to play, and some of the teams that they have to play. I mean, we might, if Seattle ends up as the 5th seed, this 4-5 game, whoever wins this one, it could be a rematch come playoff time. You know, Washington's done a good job of avoiding losing. They haven't made any big mistakes, like they did against Pittsburgh. They just keep working, and they keep the ball out of the end zone. They've been the best red zone team in football the last 8 weeks. They've been the best football team in terms of keeping people out of the end zone and points allowed. So their numbers back up what they're doing. They just got to find a little bit of offense somewhere, somehow. And if Haskins has to play this week, they can't let him screw it up and turn it over like he did in Cleveland when he was playing.
Hey, did you hear about Juju dancing on the Buffalo Bills logo before the game?
No, I did not. I did not hear that.
Oh, Mike.
On TikTok, Mike. He chopped him. He chopped him on TikTok on the Buffalo Bills logo, dude. He chopped him. He chopped him. And then he goes.
That might be the dumbest thing. That's almost as dumb. I worked at the Raiders. Al Davis used to go to practice when we were at training camp, and he would stand in the middle of the field. And literally, people would walk by him towards practice, and you could have gone way to the left or way to the right. And I used to say all the time, like, if that was a tiger in the middle of the field, would you walk up to that tiger? And they say, oh, no, I wouldn't do that. Then why would you walk up to him? Because he's a tiger. He's going to bite your head off. Like, why do you want to stir it up?
Why you want to stir it up, Diggs?
Come on, Tone. You know how I feel about Juju and TikTok.
Did you see Eric? It's a different time. I don't know if you could be a GM in the modern world right now. I don't think you could.
I'm not qualified, but I know this. I would never pet the tiger. Like, seriously, why would you pet the tiger?
You never do it. How'd you do gambling?
I was 1-3 yesterday. It was disappointing. And the thing was, the Giants blew me away. I wasn't in it. That game I was. The Packer game, I thought I had a chance to pull that out, but I got backdoored. But the 2 games, I mean, let's face it, the Saints, I was with a lot of people on the Saints, and they didn't show up. I wish I would have known that before, but I thought it was going to be an easier game for the Saints because at least they knew what the game plan was, but somehow Dennis Allen didn't get that memo.
Ladies and gentlemen, co-host of Hammered Down the Lombardi Line, also one of the authors for The Daily Coach and writes at The Athletic, also host of the GM Shuffle. Jesus Christ, dude. How do you have all this time? How do you have all this time?
I just stay working, man, and I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book of football, and I'm still working on that. Yeah, if I don't stay, what am I going to do? I'm going to watch football and write about football. What else do I have to do? Like, seriously. It's the best time of the year. I got plenty, as Belichick would say when you come around playoff time, look, put everything in the desk and just focus on what's at hand, okay? Put all the bills, all that shit in your desk, and just worry about the next game.
That'll all figure itself out. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Oh, we got to go to a break. Oh, no. In 30 seconds?
What the hell's that about?
What? Here we go. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, in 25 seconds, we are going to a break. I don't know why. I believe I was just told to do so. Excited to hear what happened. I think we're down to 15 seconds now. What all can a human say in 15 seconds? People are wondering what the hell happened. When will we be back? We're not 100% sure. Is this serious? Is this YouTube? Is it the show? Is it you? Is it me? We'll see on the other side. Maybe.
Oh, no.
Last night I was roaming around Canal and Bourbon, and it was a lot of purple. And when you get that Mercedes-Benz Dome, and it starts getting loud, and it gets rompous, obviously, not only for momentum and swings like that it can help, but for the defensive line to get a jump. I think that is a big deal. A lot of freak athletes on the field, and kickers are a spectacle no matter what happens. Whenever you're in those high-pressure moments, you normally fall back on your fundamentals. You normally fall back on your technique. You try to take your brain out of it. Cade York hits a beautiful ball.
One person at one parking garage.
And think about him warming up right now. There's just three dudes in suits breaking down every single move he makes during his warm-up. What a wild scene here for Trevor Lawrence.
Quarterback, number 9, Joe Burrow.
You're supposed to be some draft expert, and you say Joe Burrow was a 5th-round draft pick before this year. Now he's number 1 overall. What do you know? What do you know, Todd? Tim, you are so handsome, it's ridiculous. What do you think has been happening in this first quarter? Why has Joe Burrow been stumped by this Clemson defense?
I think Brent Venables is the best DC in the country, and it's honestly not a shock to me. He did this to Tua last year.
Odell Beckham just stopped by.
Odell's very excited.
Odell's happy with the 52-yard attempt coming from the kid from Clemson. I've seen Odell make this with a spinning ball. And B.T. Potter puts it through from 52 in Odell's. Not in your face. It wasn't in your face. It wasn't in your face. You weren't looking at it.
That's a career high for B.T. Potter.
Bro, imagine Joe Burrow just having to stand in there and know that Isaiah Simmons is scot-free right in your suckle. That's a bad call. No chance Alberto Riverod would turn that over. He was in the Buccos organization.
Too much.
They really just inflate it back. Did they just send somebody down there?
I don't know the procedure, but I just know they reinflate it.
Not quite, Pat McAfee. Let's talk. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and this is your #1 source for learning about the unique medical side of the world of sports. Someone sent me this clip from the Pat McAfee show the other day where he was talking about how they treat and manage a collapsed lung like Drew Brees had. And no real hate on Pat here. He's not a doctor. He shouldn't know. But they completely misexplained here what they do. And so I'm going to clear it up in this video by reacting here to what he said and fill in the gaps to explain to you guys how they really treat this with Drew Brees' collapsed lung.
Collapsed lung. How many lungs you got? 2?
Yeah, that's it.
So we're off to a good start. Pat McAfee's right here. We have 2 lungs, a right and a left, but within each we have multiple lobes. On the left side, it's pretty easy. We have a left superior lobe, and then we have a left inferior lobe. On the right, a little more complicated, but still pretty easy. We have a right superior lobe, we have a right middle lobe, and then we have a right inferior lobe. So 3 lobes on the right, 2 lobes on the left, still 2 lungs overall.
What's the deal? Everybody talks like, oh, punctured lung, not that big of a deal. Collapsed lung, not that big of a deal. It's like, what happened?
Yeah, usually a collapsed lung is not that big of a deal, but they can develop something called a tension pneumothorax, where that pressure builds up so much in the lung that it can actually push on the blood vessels of the heart, impairing your cardiac output, and can actually be fatal. So typically, yeah, collapsed lungs, while very painful and needing management, aren't always life or death. They can develop into a tension pneumothorax, which actually can be fatal. So they have to be taken very seriously nonetheless.
It's a couple. They work together.
Oh, so you tag team each other? Or
I believe so.
Tag one in, tag one in?
Good point here too. The lungs do work together. There are people who can have a lobectomy, where they essentially remove one of those lobes of the lung, and you can still get enough oxygen perfusion to your blood. So yes, when someone has a collapsed lung, they can still get enough oxygen for kind of vital functions, but you're going to feel very short of breath, and it's going to be super painful.
One picks up the slack.
And when the one collapses, how come they just send like people go over there and just like take a plunger and like bring it back?
They inflate it.
How's it work? How do the lung?
All right, so they do not just re-inflate the lung whenever somebody has a collapsed lung, and this is kind of the biggest misconception here from his video.
We went to high school with a kid who had a collapsed lung in a game, and
Also note here, I've had multiple collapsed lungs, so I've kind of been through this in terms of the symptoms and how they treat it, so I have a little bit of experience, unlike a lot of the other sports injuries I talk about.
inflate it, and then you're out for
What?
blow it up like
Send
a
something
balloon.
down like a bed, like an air mattress.
Exactly.
And you got somebody just stepping on it.
Yeah, it was like in Space Jam, right?
And then they check the PSI, and then they puncture it. You know what I mean? With the thing.
Oh, too much.
All right, so I know Pat's kind of joking here, probably intentionally, but might not actually understand how we actually treat these. No, you don't go in and re-inflate the lung when the lung collapses. What you do is you suck the air out of the space around the lung, which allows the lung to re-inflate itself. Our lungs are surrounded by this layer of tissue called a visceral pleura, and then there's a parietal pleura that's on the inside of the chest wall. There's a potential space in between those two linings, and that potential space is actually at a negative pressure with normal breathing. When you have a collapsed lung, what's happened is there's air that's escaped the lung or gotten in from the outside of the body that goes into that potential space, and the pressure goes up. As the pressure goes up, that increasing pressure actually pushes the lung inward. So it's not really that the lung collapses, so to speak. It's more so that the lung is getting pushed to collapse because of the pressure in the chest building up from excess air. What they actually do to treat these is, if it's an emergency type of situation, they'll take a needle with an empty syringe and they'll stick that into the chest to allow that pressure to blow out and escape from the chest wall to let the lung reinflate. When somebody puts a chest tube in, it's trying to drain the air from the chest cavity, so you're not putting air back into the lung to pump it back up like an inflatable bed. You're pulling the air that's got into that space out so that the lung can reinflate itself.
They really just inflate it back. Do they just send somebody down there?
I don't know the procedure.
So again, no, they don't send anything down there. They come in from the outside, they put a needle in, they put a tube in. That allows the air to escape, which lowers that pressure and lets the lung reinflate.
I could see how a guy like Richard Sherman, who's been in the league a long time and has had success, could be like, hold on. This young little isn't going to dap me up. But on the flip side, Baker's like, well, you're enemy number one for me. Because that's how Baker has always operated. And now Richard Sherman says, so you don't see any difference in the way I shake everyone else's hand, and the guy who stands back with the petty shake was BS, and I took offense to it, then turns and runs off. It's not that big of a deal. It swept the nation yesterday. It was controversy like no other controversy in the NFL world. Joining us right now, Richard Sherman. Everything you do and say is going to get talked about. Do you agree?
I would agree.
Baker Mayfield is also a man that everything he does and says is going to get talked about. Do you agree?
I wouldn't agree as much, but sure. So I put my hand out, just out of courtesy. And he gives me a little petty slap on the hand. And I took it as disrespect. People can say, oh my God, he shook your hand. Like, what? Oh my God, you were wrong. You can say whatever you want. I don't give a damn.
Is there anything you'd like to say? Like, hey man, I apologize for the misquote there. I did see on video the dap up, although it was a bit petty. I apologize for everything that happened, or are we just moving forward?
Oh, it's gonna be a bit of both. You know, it's definitely my bad. I never want anybody to have to deal with some shit some stuff that they didn't do. And so I'll probably reach out to them via text or social media to actually get a hold of them and talk to them in person. First off, that was a great name y'all came up with, like Dapgate. I was crying laughing. But yeah, he definitely deserves an apology, and that's my bad on that.
Richard, I'll tell you what, bro. To show the humility right there to say, hey, my bad on that entire thing. Once I watched the film back, it was different than what I thought. I think a lot of people are going to have a lot more respect for you. They should at least.
If I say I got to go, there's this place down by the coast. Oh no, oh mama, may I? If you say you think you know, well let me show you the way I go. Got a pop top, we can drop it down, take a ride on the way now. So we are young, feels good, let go, get down on the way now.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Hour 3 here on this Overreaction Monday, December 14th, happens immediately after this twine beat drop right now. So in the last hour, we went to break, but somehow it didn't connect. So when we had 29,000 concurrent viewers, we had to cut off because Sirius didn't connect. So that can't happen ever again. But happy we got it all figured out. Hour 3 here. Do we have AJ with us? We do. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, AJ Hawk. Yeah! Hey, boy, AJ. How you doing, pal? How's life? How's the weekend?
I'm doing good, pal. Some good games that happened. I got to see your interview with Lombardi. I thought he had some things to say.
He Lombardi bashing the New Orleans Saints defense coordinator was very interesting. He said the fact that Dennis Allen didn't know that they were going to run the ball with Jalen Hurts is a bit alarming if you're a Saints fan, but I did not expect Jalen Hurts to be as successful as he was. I wonder if Doug Peterson thought he was going to be as successful as he was too. There's something brewing, and that story is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as this whole thing goes along.
I saw the headline on ESPN. Oh, Jalen Hurts going to start next week. Was that a question?
Yeah.
Did anyone ask that?
Yeah, they said the most obvious announcement is Doug Peterson saying that the Jalen Hurts will be starting next week. But it's not just about next week, AJ. You know, the thing about it is, let's say the Washington football team continues to do what the Washington football team's doing, which is play great football. That defensive line is awesome. The offense, a lot to be desired. Not going to go on a run and win the Super Bowl, but they can win a playoff game and everybody be like, yeah, because the defensive line is so damn good and the defense is good. And it's a great story and everything like that. But the Eagles, they're in the conversation to make the playoffs. If they end up not making the playoffs, you know, if they started Jalen Hurts earlier, they're probably the NFC East champions in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And we got to pay Carson, so now we got to trade him. Well, it's Doug Peterson. That whole thing this offseason is going to be magnificent to watch. That's going to be awesome to watch.
It's going to be awesome to watch, and whether you want to hear it or not, it seems like the most likely destination is the Colts if you're Carson Wentz.
Come on. There's a lot of other options out there, okay? Aaron Rodgers might be pushed out of town, okay? Matty Stafford might be pushed out of town. You know what I mean? Who knows what Jameis Winston's going to be doing? True. I mean, there's going to be a lot of options. And Dak Prescott, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's not just automatically say, you know what, Colts, pick up this $60 million in Carson Wentz. The whole team played better. The whole team played better yesterday for the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's funny how that works, isn't it? Like when you just, no matter who the quarterback is, when you inject the backup, he comes in, especially it's a young guy. We haven't seen what he can really do in the NFL yet. A lot of people are aware of the success he had in college. So I guess the question is, can he continue to win games? Like, he's a little bit different than their offense used to be. Obviously, he ran for over 100 yards, which is pretty impressive. I didn't expect that, but yeah, the consistency, like how he finishes the last 3 games, I guess that'll be very telling.
You know, Lombardi said he didn't expect him to rush for over 100 yards either. I think the 167 passing yards is more surprising to me than the rushing yards. And that's just, I guess that's because he doesn't have lightning speed. Is that why everybody thought why did you think he wasn't going to be able to run?
I didn't think I didn't think they were going to commit to run this much.
Oh, okay, got you.
I also figured that the Saints I figured that the defense was going to try to, like, that's what you're going to do. We're going to stop the run. Let's make this dude beat us. And it is the Saints. I know they played.
Well, by the way, that's what Lombardi was saying. He was like, that defense coordinator, nobody fucking told him, like, hey, stop the run here first. Because Jalen, there was a couple times where he got the edge, and there was just nobody even, like, there wasn't even a disruption of the edge potentially. What's that?
The Saints didn't give up a 100-yard rusher for 3 years, and then they gave up 2 yesterday.
Dennis Allen was like, they're going to air it out with Jalen. What? How does that? How the fuck does that happen? That is a wild. You know what? Jalen Hurts coming in. They're benching Carson. Fucking, it's going to be Texas Tech of old school.
Be careful.
This is going to be Mike Leach running the show over here with Jalen Hurts. What did they think was going to happen? I'm very intrigued because they had Jalen Hurts packages and it was him running. And
they just had too much time. They overanalyzed and said, okay, well, we know that they think that we're going to just load the box and stop the run and say, prove it, you beat us deep. And you know what? They're probably going to throw the ball 60 times. So let's just make sure we take care of it.
You ever, let's say that did happen. Imagine Dennis Allen in the middle of the second quarter. He was like, by the way, they didn't think that we knew. They did not do any of the thinking that we did, man. We were in a bad spot. A couple other big games. Obviously, Chiefs can't cover against the Dolphins for whatever reason, but they look unbelievable. Travis Kelce is currently leading the NFL in receiving yards. He would be the first tight end to ever do that if he was to finish a season this way. Going to be difficult, obviously, because there's some guys that is the entire target. And also Tyreek Hill is on the team, which are going to take some targets. But Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, all of them out there. That team just seems to know what they have to do to win a game and just move forward. We'll be able to do this whenever the hell we want.
Hey, are we sure Tyreek Hill is okay? I saw him grab his hammy at the end of one play, but then he was back in the game.
He said it was a cramp because it did appear to be a sniper on the roof type grab of the hammy because he like popped up a little bit. So normally that means something snapped right in half, but they say it was just a cramp. That is a full report. And that even more so, the conversation that I've had about Tyreek here for a while, his durability for how explosive, how fast, the style of play, his durability is maybe his most impressive feat, and he has 10 other things he can do physically that are just unbelievable. Because somebody that is that fast, that quick, the quick twitches are so in tune, you would think a popped hammy would happen, but instead, just a cramp. Actually, he was down in Miami, a little bit hot. I've been running 7 miles. You know, I don't know if you see our play calls. I just run all over the place. It's amazing to me how durable he is. And on the flip side is Ben Roethlisberger dead, AJ? Everybody's talking about Lombardi's big stat is you have to average at least 6 yards per attempt or whatever per completion if you want to play winning football. He hasn't had that, I guess, all year, and they were nowhere near it. It's all quick outs, quick routes, and there's been drop balls, though, that doesn't get talked about a lot. It's all kind of falling on Ben Roethlisberger's shoulders, but is he dead? Are the Steelers dead, AJ?
I don't know if they're dead, but I mean, their style of play doesn't look like it's going to help them in the playoffs, especially with the injuries they have on defense. And Bud Dupree, I think, was a huge loss for them.
Oh no!
Quick game situation. Like, I don't think he's really made for that. Obviously, he's had success; he can do whatever. But I think he's better when he's holding on it when he is Ben. But who knows what that elbow feels like in the rest of his body?
Oh, is he dead? If I don't play good enough football, then I need to hang it up, says Ben Roethlisberger. But I still feel like I can do enough to help his team win football games. You know, the Ben Roethlisberger, this is something that happens. Ben is very hard on himself. Ben. Ben,
you're right.
Ben does seem to, blame himself heavily for whenever things don't go well for the Steelers.
Beats himself to the bone.
He does beat himself up. It does seem like he does that. Because this happens a lot. Take it easy over there, AJ. This happens a lot where Ben Roethlisberger, I think this is what I was talking about with Dan Bailey. Ben Bailey. Cash cap. But Dan Bailey, by the way, I would assume Ben Bailey sometimes he gets that point in his brain where he's, I'm not going to be able to say anything clever or witty in between questions here. You know what I mean? Yep. Dan Bailey has what's going through right now is his brain's telling him he can't make a kick. Ben Roethlisberger seems to have this happen every once in a while where his brain starts to tell him he's a bad football player. And it feels like this is like the first time in maybe a couple years this has happened. But I'm worried about old Ben with the way he's speaking, Diggs. I'm very worried about it.
Some sort of blockage, I think.
Oh, Jesus. A lot of guys thinking he needs to relieve himself. But I'm just saying, football-wise, he has this conversation on a regular basis, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, people forget because he wasn't in last year, but he does this. He threatens retirement every single season. I mean, he fakes an injury every single season. I mean, there's a down point every single season. He'll be back. I mean, this is just for dramatics. This is just who he is.
I can respect somebody thinking about retiring every year, by the way, because I did do that. And then I finally pulled the trigger. But what's that, AJ?
Who do they play next week?
Bengals. This is a big get-back game. This is like it's like the Seahawks being broken for 3 weeks and then getting a chance to beat the Jets by 37 fucking points, by the way. 40-3. They had to hop on a plane 5.5 hours from Seattle all the way back to New Jersey after that game last night. I just thought about all the players, all the coaches. There wasn't a single thing that went well. Not a single. Special teams, not great. Defense, terrible. Offense, bad. Lost 40-3 to a team that was potentially broken. Then you got to hop on that plane and just sit in a tin of misery for a quarter of a fucking day while you fly back from Seattle. I mean, that was just, that's tough, dude. They're definitely not going to win a single fucking game this year. They are so bad.
You're right. That's like what a terrible place to go get blown out in Seattle like that and on the plane. So all the coaches know, like every coach is sitting there texting all their buddies around the league, like, hey, man, like, hey, whatever's open, I'm available. Be available soon. Every coach is thinking that. Then every player in the back is thinking, like, oh, am I going to get cut? A lot of players are saying, I want the hell out of here. Like, get me out of this place. So, like, what a just awkward, terrible dynamic.
Anybody know my contract setup? What is it? What is a restricted free agent? That conversation's happening in the back of the. Am I a free agent and then somebody will say, no, they still get you might be trapped here at least another year or two, man. That might sound, and that whole and then there's some wine potentially happening, and then there's like a sitting back, people talking about the good old days when they were on teams that won football games. That 6-hour ride, I bet, was just miserable.
Well, and to your point, the Jets losing does in fact clinch Nick Mangold chugging an entire bottle of barbecue sauce. That's
right.
Hey, Nick, don't you forget, pal. You put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the deliciousness of your barbecue sauce.
It's real good.
And that's good news because we love the taste of this stuff.
Yeah.
I would have been willing to chug one of these if the Colts hadn't won a certain amount of games and if the Jets won more than 4 games because of how delicious this is.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of the best barbecue sauce we have ever seen.
Bar none.
The best in the office. The only barbecue sauce we have in the office. The Mango 74 barbecue, but with the way the Jets have played this year, you see, in that 6-hour misery flight last night, what it kind of locked in there is they ain't going to win 4 games.
No, they're not.
They ain't going to win 4 games. And guess what? The Colts already won the amount of games that they had to win.
That's right.
So what we're telling the big handsome, big handsome.
Oh, yeah.
A man that's notoriously represented right next to the New York Jets when you think of the New York Jets as this big, handsome, bearded man who held down the center of the fort for them during the times where they were winning some games in recent history. He is a man now that has to chug a whole fucking bottle of barbecue sauce because the Jets stink. So that's a regrettable thing for him to sign up for. We kind of forced him into it.
A little bit.
I kind of feel bad about it, but you know, Nick, you chug that, I'll also donate a certain amount of money or whatever, depending upon the misery of which it looks like. Because this is thick.
Oh, yeah.
It is thick.
Yeah,
it's really
very
good,
thick.
Maybe set a time limit of how fast he has to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Think about a funnel.
Yeah. They stink, AJ. They stink, dude.
I mean, obviously, what about I think it was last week where Boomer came out and said Bill Cowher may be interested in that job.
Yeah, Bill Cowher came out and was like, that is not true. I don't care what the fuck Boomer says. That is not true at all. What if that is how, like, those super high-end guys, like, that's how they troll each other? You know? Like, what if that's how they do it? Like, oh, did you see what I did to Bill? I linked he would coach the Jets. New York Post, ESPN, they were talking about it on the internet, everywhere talking about it, and Bill had to come out and say, I ain't coaching down there. That's awesome. Maybe I'll start doing that to you, AJ.
You should, but this is perfect. I mean, let's say Cowher doesn't want to coach. And then the Jets say, hey, man, we'll pay you $11 million a year. He's like, okay, maybe I do want to coach.
Yeah. I don't know what the Jets are going to do to turn that place around, man. That whole culture stinks. Now, granted, I was on a team that almost went completely defeated, and they changed the culture, painted the walls and everything like that. But I think that's what you're going to have to do with the Jets. You know how sometimes you got to bury the game ball, you know what I mean? Bury the ball. Let's forget all that. They might just have to bury the whole goddamn building.
Yeah.
Just start digging. Just bury it.
Well, hell, they get Trevor Lawrence next year and then maybe bring in someone like Joe Brady to coach him. I mean, they might all of a sudden be good in, 15 years.
Joe Brady feels like a good hire. Bieniemy is another one, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Couple offensive guys. Maybe Graham Harrell, huh? Get him in there.
Ooh. That's a good. That's one that people aren't really talking about. At least maybe hire Graham to be the OC.
By the way, the only people talking about it sounds like our friends of Graham. Friends of Graham. Because I believe you were the one that mentioned it, and that's the only reason why I mentioned it.
And Pat, Aaron and I talked about back, Graham would always tell us, yeah, I'm going to coach. And so all we ever talked about, like, Graham, we cannot wait until you're a head coach because you will have to do press conferences every day, and we know the human you are, and it's going to be amazing.
Go on.
I don't even know how to describe Graham. He's such a unique, weird dude. He collects these little baby shrunken heads. He has like 100 of them on his wall. He's weird. He's just so weird. He's super into wrestling.
So he's a nut job.
Everything about wrestling.
Okay. Oh, he likes wrestling? Okay. Let's lead off with that. Okay, I like that. The Hannibal Lecter shit kind of keep in the back pocket.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing with that. It just adds to the weirdness and how unique he is. But he's like a weird genius too when it comes to football, and he's real big into like simplifying things. He doesn't like the coaches that have the paragraph long play calls. Like that's why I think he's had so much success in the college level.
He's who's the guy that coached in the XFL that I got to call? He's the creator of the air raid offense.
Hal Mummy.
Hal Mummy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, his plays only have one word. They're all one word, and then everybody knows what the hell they're doing. That guy was awesome. Towel around his neck, slippers on. He's the Mike Leach. He's Mike Leach's Mike Leach. He was the guy that Mike Leached Mike Leach. He was his coach. Hal Mummy. Yeah, that guy's awesome. Graham, I assume, is from that same tree, right?
Absolutely. Played for Mike Leach and coached for him.
Yeah, so it makes sense that he collects skulls.
That's not real, right? That's just AJ trolling Graham.
It does feel like that's potentially AJ lying, much like some other situations where he's lied about kind of caused a couple situations, a little controversy.
I mean, I'm not lying about the shrunken head things. You can ask Aaron tomorrow. He knows all about it. But the good thing for Graham is he'll never see it. Like, Graham doesn't even know how to use the internet.
Oh, he has to find his shrunken head somewhere. Is he going door to door to find those? He better be fucking using the internet.
I think he has his wife probably going in. Hey, Brittany, give me some of them. Give me a couple more red and blue skulls.
Let's go to Elliot in New York. Elliot, what's going on, man?
What's up, Pat? How we doing, guys?
Yeah, life has changed a little bit over the last couple of minutes, to be honest with you, now that I know some people collect some things. But other than that, everything's okay. What do you want to talk about, bub?
Cool, man. Yo, I got a couple pets. For one is when they call the red zone the red area. That's got to stop. I don't know if that's contractual with the station or what. That's just BS. Number two, this I think you can really change. They call skill players, right? Receivers, quarterbacks, running back. If you were to go up to Ndamukong Suh or Aaron Donald or Pat McAfee or any freaking 250-pound player and tell them they don't have skills, they would probably knock you on your ass. So please, can we call them speed players and not skill players and change this travesty that drives me crazy every time?
Not a boy, Elliot. We need you. This guy probably collects skulls, by the way. Elliot. That guy.
Absolutely.
Seems like he's a little bit upset about something he should not be that upset about. Yeah. You know what I mean? Unless Ndamukong Suh is coming out here saying, hey, I'm tired of the skill players getting a differentiator. Mark Schlereth had he went on a rant about how the toughest skill to learn is how to move another human, right? So he said you talk about skill players. He was talking about offensive linemen being skill players. I don't think if you're not in the skill player category, you don't have any skills. It was just an easy way for people in practice to say skill players over here, this happens. Everybody else just kind of got to eat shit, which I could see why you're a little bit upset. You seem like you were a skillless player there for a long time. That's on him. I apologize for that. That should have been.
He was definitely not a skill player.
That guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 185-pound D lineman.
Ooh.
I bet he was
a lot of potential there.
185-pound D lineman. I bet you he fucking had good hands.
Yeah, he's
though.
tough.
Good
You know what I
frame.
mean? Skills.
Yeah.
He had skills in there. Didn't have the speed. Coach kind of screwed him a little bit because he couldn't get off the ball as fast as other people. But whenever he got into the technique game, that motherfucker was flawless. Always graded high on effort. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Always, and very little MAs. Normally no MAs.
Elbow guards.
Started out third, fourth. Yeah, definitely had elbow guards.
If that coach didn't screw him too, I mean, Elliott's probably playing at Bama right now.
Elliot, we appreciate you, man.
Big E.
AJ's appreciate you too, AJ, because you were a middle linebacker. You were stupid. You weren't no skill player at all.
No,
Yeah.
Run your head in.
Fool.
Stupid and no skill. You're right. So I'm with Elliot.
Can you put those fingers up one more time?
No.
Come on, dude.
Dude, just do it.
Oh, I saw it.
What?
So what's that from? You think that's from if we were to when you had to grab people's jerseys and then throw them?
Oh, my
God.
God.
Look at this disgusting stuff.
God. Pinky.
It's disgusting.
Jesus. Golly.
Oh, jeez.
Holding the cigar, it literally is just his hand locked in and they just shove it in there. I mean, it's just unbelievable. AJ, we appreciate your sacrifice of your hands for the good of the game.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you. Let's go to Matt in Philadelphia. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, Pat, how's it going?
Not too shabby, man. How are you?
First of all, I just wanted to say thank you for taking my call. I really enjoyed your show the last couple of years, watching it and getting it through quarantine with you guys, and you guys have inspired me to do my own podcast. So can't thank you enough for that.
Oh, what's the name of the pod, Matt? What's the name of the pod?
It's called the Black and Blue Pod.
Okay. What's that about?
It's about sports, music, entrepreneurs.
Nice.
I really wanted to branch out and bring... Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous.
Don't worry about it. Black and Blue pod, dog. You're just going to listen to it now. I just want to know what we're listening to.
No, yeah. So it covers sports. I interview some guests like Arshay Cooper. He was on the first all-black men's high school rowing team.
Oh, let's go.
Whoa.
Nice.
It's a big deal.
What was your
a big
first
deal.
question? What was your first question there?
Sorry. So my question is...
No. To the rower. What was your first question to him? Did you say, how'd you get into rowing?
Yeah. He was out of West... He grew up in Chicago, in the west side of Chicago.
Shut up.
And it's a crazy story. There's a whole documentary on it. It's called The Most Beautiful Thing for anyone who's interested. And my podcast is available on all streaming platforms for anyone who's listening that may want to check it out.
The Black and Blue podcast. Let's go to the Black and Blue podcast. All right. What do you want to ask now, brother?
So, obviously, with the Eagles situation and Jalen Hurts getting that win over New Orleans, there's a whole controversy now. Do you think, assuming that the Eagles decide to move on and try and find landing spots for Carson Wentz, do you think Pittsburgh could be a big move?
Yeah. Good call, Matt. That's a good call, Matt.
There it is.
Yeah, that's where it is. Send him to Pittsburgh.
Black and Blue.
Yeah. Black and Blue podcast says send his ass to Pittsburgh. I like it. Anywhere that is in Indianapolis,
gold.
I am with it.
Well, it's good for Carson Wentz because the only quarterback he might be better than in the league is Mason Rudolph. So that
All right, let's go to Mike in New York.
Well, and he could go hunting with Duck.
And pray with Ben.
Wow. 2 for 1.
Here we go.
Perfect spot.
Real quick, will you listen to the Black and Blue podcast tonight?
Absolutely.
All right.
Full review from AJ.
All right, I can't wait for a full review tomorrow.
I will. Maybe. Honestly, I do listen to a bunch of different ones. Why not give that one a shot?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? Let's go to Colin in Bloomington. I could have buried him. I chose not to.
Good guy.
Because I'm going to listen to Black and Blue podcast first. Is it blue as in like blue cheese, or is it blue as in the color? I would assume because he talked about music, maybe blues in there a little bit.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Like the music.
What's going on, Colin?
What's up, Pat? Hope that you, the boys, and AJ's hideous finger are doing wonderful on this Overreaction Monday.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we're all doing just fine. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Well, yesterday the Giants O-line sucked. I mean,
yeah, they were bad.
They didn't protect Daniel Jones worth of anything. Whenever he gets sacked, he can't hold on to the ball worth of anything. I wonder if it's time for Colt McCoy to take that starting job.
I knew as soon as Colt McCoy got a dub. That, by the way, his first win, I think, as a starter in the NFL or whatever. As soon as he got that win last week, the whole world was going to be like. Literally, yesterday I was watching, just waiting for Colt McCoy to start trending as they were struggling there. They brought him in at the end, thought he was going to be able to make some magic. But that Giants team, such an interesting dilemma. They have to turn around that entire place. I think Joe Judge is doing a good job. But Colt McCoy getting that big win a week ago, Daniel Jones getting slaughtered. Just go ahead and roll the ball out there and let the old Texas boy do his thing. Why not? Why not do it, AJ? Why not let old Colt go ahead and take the reins for the rest of the year?
Are you so sure that Colt wants to go take the reins? I mean, they gave up 5 sacks to Hassan Reddick yesterday.
One dude, yeah. And by the way, he was getting them like every third sack that they were getting. So you do the math. There was it felt like 10 sacks yesterday and then a lot more that could have happened. I mean, he was getting his ass beat back there. You know what, though? That Giants offensive line, they'll give a little bit more effort next week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now that they're officially out of it, they'll give a lot more effort next week. Yeah, whoever.
Think you're going to bring Mark Colombo back? Do you ask him back now?
Oh, that's a great question. Didn't they fight each other?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What'd they fight about?
Bringing in Googs.
Stuff, yeah.
The new guy. Maybe the old guy and the new guy fight each other in front of the guys.
Oh. That'll get it inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe have Colombo come in and slap some more people around.
I'm going to knock this fucker out in front of all you guys.
Who's he going to knock out? The head coach or the O-line coach?
The old guy.
Googs.
I mean, I guess that's the true meritocracy. Let them fight it out to see who gets the job.
I mean, are we going to be old school smash mouth football or not? You know what I mean? Is that how we're going to earn our spot around here? We're going to have to earn it? Is that what we're going to do?
Time to set the culture.
Yeah, you guys could fucking learn a thing or two about being tough. And knock this guy's fucking teeth out. And we're going to win a football game next weekend.
What accent is that?
I don't know. I assume that's what Goog sounds like. Or Colombo. Either one.
Both. All right, let's get to a break. Man, that Giants team needs something. If that's what it is, if that's what it is, that Giants fan base is hoping for it. Because hopes were getting up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
The NFC East was so bad, the Giants had a chance. Here we go. Then you hear about coaches fighting during the bye week, and that offensive line just can't protect a goddamn soul. If 2 coaches in front of a team meeting just had a fucking duel.
Yeah.
Imagine Joe Judge like, boys, today for inspiration, normally you can bring in speakers, okay? You can go through a litany of quotes that people have said in the past that get you going. Today, one representative of the former coaching staff and one representative of the new coaching staff are going to battle it out right here.
Bruce Buffer's there too.
Oh, it's time! Which one's that? Is that the...
I get confused.
That's the
other
the
Buffer.
UFC one.
Yeah.
Michael Buffer's. Let's get ready to rumble!
Can't say it.
Cannot do what you just did right there. Holy shit.
I said
Ended
it
on
once.
rum.
I said it once, $20,000 fine.
We got to get to a break. We just fucking bankrupt ourselves. We can't afford that.
Can't do it.
That's tough. That's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
Hey, that was really good, too. People are going to think we actually ripped that.
Who's in here?
Give that one more. Give that one more. What did it sound like?
Nice.
Can't do it.
Sure.
God, dude. Jesus Christ, dude. 30 minutes into hour 3 here. We might be back on the other side. We might not even get to a break. We're not 100% sure. But if we do, we got phone calls on the other side, and we got picks for tonight. Browns-Ravens matchup, which the sports books seem to believe that the Ravens are going to win, by the way. They want people to bet on the Browns +3. We'll talk about that on the other side, plus more with A.J. Hawk and his incredible fingers. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Overreaction Monday, December 14th. Well, hello, sensual piano keys. You sound incredibly inspirational and motivational. Big announcement coming from our company. You know, throughout my entire life, I've made decisions that people have said, ooh, that is stupid. You've read about them, you heard about them. When I was in high school, I went to an underground poker game, won $1,400, flew myself down to Miami, won a kicking contest, and got a scholarship to West Virginia the next day. I turned my back on soccer that day. Everybody said, you're an idiot. Why are you doing that? You have more schools looking at you for soccer than you do for football. What are you thinking? Fast forward 8 years with the Indianapolis Colts, and I was on top of the world, top of the mountain. How's the view? Not too shabby. And when I was at the top of my game, I decided, you know what? I'm going to pursue some other stuff. My friends and I are going to go to work on the internet. We're going to try to chase fulfillment as opposed to just a paycheck. And there were some interesting responses from people of power in the sporting world.
Make them tear the uniform off of you. Sure. Look, somebody needs to stage an intervention. People who know this guy, get to him now. Make him put his helmet back on and get to camp.
Oh, no, there's no intervention, Wilbon. No, no, no. Here we are 3 years after that date, and it's a celebration, bitches. Cut the music. Let's hand out some bags to the boys. For the boys. For the boys. Oh, by the way, that's for you, brother.
Oh my God.
Are you home? All right, come out the front door.
What's up, dude?
What is this?
What's this?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
What the fuck? Fuck you. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. That is the bag of money.
FanDuel deal went through. There's $50,000 in there for you. Here's a backpack with $50,000 in it. Oh, $50,000 in there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so there's $50,000 in there. Yeah, so there's $50,000 in there.
Are you fucking serious?
Let's go.
You brought it back?
Oh man. Let's go, dude.
Let's go. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yo, this is...
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, dude.
We did it?
Couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, thank you.
Dude, it's a fuck ton of money.
You guys.
When I asked Dan Patrick for some advice, he told me always take care of the boys.
Well, and you should know those people that are there with you, that their value cannot be overstated and should not be overstated.
So, Mike Wilbon, they didn't hold my jersey on me. They didn't hold my helmet on me. We didn't have an intervention. What we have is a celebration. Because when you bet on yourself, sometimes you hit for big. And for us, the only place we'll bet for the next couple years in an exclusive deal, FanDuel backed the Brinks truck up to our office, and we have never been more thankful, more excited, and more together as we promote the greatest sports book on planet Earth.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Canadips CBD would like to issue.
That's all right.
Canabits too. I mean, you know. Canadips CBD would like to issue a formal apology to all the listeners of the Pat McAfee Show.
Oh.
Canadips CBD vows to never change the promo code.
Thank God.
Lit Boomers.
Thank God.
Again.
There we go.
It was a huge mistake.
It was.
And they agree.
Okay, good news.
Who wants to hear
For those
anything?
that haven't, hold on. For those that haven't kept up, Canadips CBD tobacco-less pouches for you to no longer chew tobacco pouches. They've made an incredible, was it recreation? I don't know. Yeah, recreation with no tobacco in it, but it has CBD and other things. So you can kick the tobacco chewing habit and move on in a much better fashion. And they had one of the best promo codes in the history, Lip Boomers. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, we get an email and they're like, oh, hey, by the way, Lip Boomers thing was cool. We're going to move on to something else. It's like, whoa. You guys got a really good thing going. We got a good thing going.
Yeah.
Let's not just try to go ahead and fucking twist this all up. So shout out to Canadips for not only innovating the entire chew game, but now also saying, hey, you're right, let's go back to Lip Boomers. Shout out to them. Shout out to you, Connor.
In an effort to make things right, Canadips CBD is doubling up the promo codes for a holiday bonus.
Really?
For this week only, use promo code LITBOOMERS for 15% off your total order, and Canadips will toss in a free tin of the new cannabis strain flavor, Lemon Tree. Ooh. That's right, Lemon Tree, the skunky lemon strain from Santa Cruz, California. That's right, 15% off your total order plus a free tin with any order size. You won't see the lemon tree tin in the basket, but rest assured, we're going the extra mile in getting you hooked up. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you, CanadipCBD.com. Head over there and use Lit Boomers for 15% off and a free tin of lemon tree on the house. We value all you guys who hang big lit boomers with the boys and don't need to overcomplicate your life. Stock up this holiday season and enjoy this double play from us at Canadips. That's CanadipsCBD.com. Promo code LIPBOOMERS to enjoy 15% off.
Very good job there. Hey, very great job. Shout out to Canadips. Shout out to Lemon Tree.
Lemon Tree is the new tin. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, they look, this one got snapshotted with the hockey stick. Okay, had to do it, obviously, because I got clap bombs on deck. But he shows up. You got pouches. Here we go. Put them in there. Lip boomers. You feel good, right?
Yeah, they're great.
How about that?
If you chew tobacco, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Grow up.
Let's go to Brandon in Chicago. Brandon, what's going on, bub?
Hey, Pat, AJ, and the boys. How's it going?
Hey, not too shabby. What do you want to talk about, bub?
I just want to say thank you for the show. I enjoy watching it on YouTube.
Very nice of you.
I'm currently in finals week right now in grad school, and I got the Rona last week.
Oh, jeez. Hope you're all right, man. Hope you survive. Obviously, both finals and the Rona. What's the finals in? What are we taking?
I'm in my master's program for respiratory therapy at Rush University in Chicago.
Respiratory therapy. That's like the Corona, right? I mean, that's kind of the thing.
Yeah, I literally have 2 professors doing dissertations on it right now, and last month I got to see some patients. So,
all right. Well, hey, good luck out there, pal. We're pulling for you. Do you have a question, or do you just want to say shout out to us for shouting out to you?
I just want to shout out to you guys.
Oh, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Brandon. Shout out to you, Brandon. Good luck in those finals. AJ, did you ever take any tests in college, or was that whenever Ohio State was just giving you guys grades?
No, I never took one, man. I have no idea what that even is. I told you, I went to class every day. I could not skip. They checked our classes.
Yeah, okay.
Is that when did that become like the talking point? Was that around the same time you guys all were like the Ohio State? Did it all come in like the same pamphlet? It's like the Ohio State, and we went to every single class. Also, no tattoos. Also, was that like in one big pamphlet? Was that on that Ohio State cruise you guys go on?
No, I don't know. I mean, I was in Coach Tressel's first recruiting class, and he is very, detail-oriented. He wants to make sure you're doing all the right things off the field and on the field. So, yeah, he sent people around and checked. It happened. I've told this on the show a long time ago. Andy Katzenmore's on the cover of Sports Illustrated back in the day. It says, like, the Buckeyes are number 1 if the Big Cat is eligible. He had to go take some weird – they found out he was taking some garbage classes, I guess, which I know Andy. I saw him last week. He's the man.
Yeah.
And after that, I think they started turning – they like went the other way. Like teachers, professors, everyone. There's a lot of bad pub for the school, so they kind of made it sometimes more difficult on players.
West Virginia did a class checking and things like that. I do remember that. They did check classes. It was always a nightmare when you get a text, hey, buddy's here checking. You got to like, let me hop on my scooter real quick. I pull in like 20 minutes late to the class. I got caught up in traffic or whatever. All right, yeah, you're a little bit late this time. Gotcha. Walk in. Teacher doesn't even know you're in the class because you haven't been there yet all year. Say, hey, how's it going? Just here, could you drop something off for my friend? And then fucking just go ahead and get out of there. See you later, pal. Man, my college experience, what a joke. Now that I think about it, what an absolute joke. Cade York, by the way, kid from LSU, 57-yard field goal. I hope he got to celebrate that. 57-yarder in the fog. Everybody's saying in the fog, in the fog, in the fog. I don't know how much that changes the kick, but that was an incredible ball. 57-yarder, and no matter what level, especially in the fourth quarter with 30-some seconds left against a massive rival in an SEC game on national television, massive ball by Cade York. McPherson could have tied it up, I guess, with a 51-yarder moments after, pulled it a little bit to the left. That's a big ball. Congrats to Cade York. Yeah, I didn't see it live. Did not see it live, by the way.
It was nice.
I got a lot of tweets from people telling me I need to put a little respect on Cade York's name or something like that. I'm like, all right, fucking relax, first of all. And also, I was sleeping. I am so sorry I passed out a little bit early on Saturday. Great vitamin day on Saturday. Ooh, buddy. We were all the way out there. Hey, Browns-Ravens tonight, AJ. Browns are getting 3 points at home against a Ravens team that I don't think anybody would say has looked that damn impressive in the last month or so. A lot more question marks than answers. What are you thinking in this game tonight? Why are the Browns getting 3 points, you think, at home? Aren't the Browns hot right now? Are the Browns not a hot football team right now, AJ?
The Browns are a very hot football team. I think people don't trust the Browns yet. I mean, a win over the Ravens would go very, very far, I think, for people that are on the fence about the Browns. And, I love to pick an underdog, Pat. Like, I would love to pick the Browns here, but I can't. Like, I think the Ravens are going to win this one.
Okay, so you truly believe that. Like, you're not even looking at this as the sports books want us to bet Cleveland Browns +3, by the way, because they do. Mm-hmm. This line was set up for everybody to bet Cleveland Browns +3. I would assume massive amount of money is on the Browns. I mean, I might be out of touch here, but it feels like this is a setup for people to bet on the Browns. You like the Ravens straight up?
Yeah, I like them straight up.
Judon's back, I believe, on that defensive line. Mm-hmm. What do you think offensively? You think Lamar's just going to show out tonight?
I think Lamar plays well. I know for whatever reason the Browns can't stop tight ends. Mark Andrews is in the lineup. He had 2 touchdowns against them week 1. These are like Gumpy things I'm going into, like stuff that happened in the past.
Gumpy just gave you a massive shrug from the back. Massive shrug from the back. Gumpy, what are the stats saying for tonight?
This did open as a pick 'em, Pat, and the Sharps pushed it to a -3, so that's where the money's coming from. And then the only worry with the Ravens is they are 1-4 against the spread. Their last 5 is a favorite. But they are 7-3 against the spread. Their last 10 against the Browns.
Connor, you like the Browns a lot.
I'm all over the Browns. You know what? Vegas is always right. I understand that. Not tonight. Tonight's about the dog pound. Okay.
Why is that?
Because Baker's hot. He's going to go cook. They got 2 great running backs. And I understand Judon's back and Mark Andrews, whatever. They couldn't even follow protocols. So I'm not trusting their on-field performance until they can prove it.
Of course, because the COVID protocols are broken. That means on the field they can't do jack shit. Mm-hmm. Because the little things lead to big things.
Thank you.
Isn't that right, Connor?
And they're not in one hole, one play. Boom. See you later. Nick Chubb, 75-yard touchdown. Wow. What's going on? The Browns are winning 7-0 already.
Oh, by the way, Kareem Hunt, too. If Nick Chubb gets a little bit tired from running so far, he'll come in and do the same goddamn thing.
Oh, is having an unbelievable backup running back something that's good? Well, guess what? The Browns got that. Kareem Hunt, like you just said, see you later. 100 yards, probably 2 scores.
Oh, also good tight end. You want to talk about good tight end? What about Austin Hooper out there for the Browns?
The hoop?
Are you talking about the hoop?
No one's better at blocking than the big hoop. And let's just see. Maybe bet down at the goal line, instead of handing it to one of those 2 all-pro running backs, slide, hold on, play action, hoop, score.
Bang. Maybe Jarvis Landry, end around, throw a touchdown himself. Jarvis Landry, end around, throw a touchdown to himself tonight, maybe.
Whoa.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Jamal Charles in that commercial. Just toss it up. Run, catch. Woo. I'm going to take him alternate spread. You just convinced me.
Don't let the Ravens beating a very bad Cowboys team make you forget that they lost 3 in a row before that game.
How about that?
Was that against Nooch? Who was that against? Was that against Andy?
Mm-hmm.
Andy Dalton, whole different quarterback against that Bengals this weekend.
Yeah.
Whole different quarterback.
You see him. Hey, first off, Gumpy's wrong. You said a very bad Cowboys team. The Cowboys are good. They're still alive. They have hope. We saw them light up the Bengals yesterday.
They are. And by the way, I love that Andy Dalton's wife was in a suite with a Cincinnati Bengals fan that they had probably known for a long time whenever their time was in Cincy.
No, AJ Green's wife. She was with.
Okay, so a Cincinnati Bengals fan that they knew for a long time from their time at Cincy. Okay, go ahead and continue that. But that had to feel so good for Andy Dalton and his wife. That he got benched on his birthday last year. I mean, that team stinks. Zach Taylor, everybody says he's safe for his job just strictly because the ineptitude of the ownership. They won't fire somebody. I mean, that is a dumpster fire over there. And Andy Dalton loves every single thing about it. I was pumped up for Andy Dalton, man.
Hey, old Bengals were killing it. Yesterday, Nuge gets the call up from practice squad and drains every kick. Did he have three or four field goals?
Yeah, he had a 55-yard or 2 that ended up being a penalty or whatever that he missed, but I think he would have made if they moved it up 5 yards. But I was big pumped. And also Carlos Dunlap, he played well over there for the Seattle Seahawks. Shout out to Andy Dalton just fucking burying the goddamn Bengals yesterday, by the way.
Why are you still doing that?
Huh?
What do you mean, dude? It's almost as if Andy Dalton has resurrected the revenge game that we always talk about.
Yeah, it was a redemption-style love fest yesterday on the thing.
Hooper's out, by the way. I just saw.
No!
I'm so sorry.
No wonder it's +3.
You guys take the Browns at your own peril, man.
Yeah, I'm betting on the Ravens. I did that whole thing with you there. I'm bet on the Ravens as well. Just because it feels like the +3 is where you're supposed to go. Just feels like that's where you're supposed to go.
Starting out a pick 'em is very worrisome. I did not know that actually when I made that pick. But I don't care. I'm rolling with the dogs. Baker has never played this well.
Public's on the Browns too. So
how about that?
Yeah,
So I
never would have guessed.
I hate it even more.
I believe that's what literally led us to this entire conversation.
Yeah.
So you and me, AJ, we like the Ravens. That's
Good
right. Good for us.
Pat, I got to catch I caught the open of the show, and I really appreciated it, and I loved Diggs almost getting emotional, laying out his 5-step process on what the Steelers need to do. Like I thought you were getting choked up there between 2 and 3.
Hold on. So let's try to run through
Foxy
the.
might get choked here real soon.
Yeah, Foxy was number 5. The 5 pillars of the Steelers being a good football team again. Number 5 was Evan Fox.
Correct.
Number 1 was
Fire Randy Fichtner.
Number 2 is Juju. Number 3 was Eric Ebron. Number 4 was
get defense healthy.
Get defense healthy. Yeah, nothing against defense. We just need the boys to get back out there.
Yep.
But everything else on the offense we need to get rid of. Did you see? Have we talked about Juju dancing on the star yet? You and me in the Bills. What?
I have not. I know you've talked about it.
Did you see? I guess I did not know he was dancing on everybody's fucking logo at every stadium.
That's his thing.
I guess that's like his thing. Yeah, it's good for TikTok because the TikTok is lit. Dude.
Yeah.
It is
So
super
lit.
litty, bro. It's like super litty. But in my eyes, right, Juju, he has to know that he's stirring the pot by doing this, right? Like he's being an instigator here, like a pest. Is that on purpose, you think? Or is he just oblivious to it? He's just like, hey, you know what? I love it, dude.
It's all love.
It's litty, dude.
I love.
You know what? He is I guess. How old is he? 25, maybe.
20.
He's younger than that.
24.
I mean, he's so young. I never thought that he could be oblivious to it. He's just doing his thing. I always just thought he's trolling people, and he does this because he loves to get a reaction. He loves to kind of mix things up.
Yeah, he's like
just turned 24.
He's a pest. He's like a pest. Like in hockey they have those types. By the way, if that's why he's doing all this, I think all the people that are bashing him should respect it a little bit more if he's actually doing this too. Now, granted, if you lose and things like that, it's going to backfire on you every once in a while. But if you get a win and because he gets some tough yards, I feel like any blocks.
Well, here's the thing: on the field, he's played well recently. Like he's probably been the best player on the offense recently. But you just don't want to give the other team any motivation. Don't do it.
I mean,
do it after the game.
I mean, Josh Allen said, hey, let them do all the singing and fucking dancing. Let's just go work here, boys, or whatever. I am surprised this hasn't caused some shit earlier, though, with Juju on the logo. Just some sort of push from somebody. I'm surprised there hasn't been some sort of shit.
It did happen in the game against the Cowboys when he scored the touchdown. He was trying to run to the star.
And what happened?
And the guy slapped the ball out of his hands.
I like that. See, that type of bullshit I love. Like, that's just such bullshit. Like,
slap him in the
we got
mouth.
nothing to do here. What? He's dancing on the goddamn logo. Okay, now we got to go push him because then the Harbaugh situation happens. I mean, it's a wild scene. And then Ebron interrupting Josh Allen's post-game interview and saying, good football game. Oh, goddamn. What is going on over there? Pittsburgh Steelers fans are they're throwing their terrible towels into the washer and dryer and saying, get everything fucking off of this thing that we can possibly get. This needs not happen anymore.
Yeah, it does. Pat, winning covers up for everything. Covers everything. And they've been winning, so people haven't talked about it. It hasn't become an issue. Oh, you lose a few games, and now all these tiny little things that you'd never think are a big deal become a big deal.
Have you guys been on teams that have started off really, really good, and then you guys hit a little rut, and then you were good again?
Probably.
Thank you. I rest my case.
That wasn't a definite, though.
Yeah.
That was just a
I
problem.
didn't need a definite.
And this is very late in the season, I feel like. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now, the Indianapolis Colts, I guess the year they won the Super Bowl, 2006, before I was there, I guess they got fucking dog-walked by the Jaguars late in the season, like bad. Ooh. And they talked about that as being like a moment or whatever. You could see how the Saints could potentially do that with the loss to the Eagles yesterday. Maybe the Steelers do it with a loss to the Bills and the Washington team, maybe. But I don't think I've ever been on a team that's been like awesome and then all of a sudden we stink and then just being like, oh, no, we're back to being good again.
How much does a get-right game potentially against the Bengals like the Seahawks had this week against the Jets do for a team? Like, does that –
We're completely off the Seahawks being broken, right? Because they won by 37 against the sorry-ass Jets, right? Yep. Are we off of that?
They got a big game in Washington coming up on Sunday.
Oh,
we'll see.
Oh, Ty, that's your starting fantasy football quarterback right there.
I told you, I benched his ass. He made me miss the playoffs. So, fuck Russ. He's broken for 5 weeks, and I went 0-5 in that same time frame.
But the Steelers against the Bengals, Steelers should win that one pretty mightily.
They're 13-point favorites, I think.
How about Tomlin putting the boys in pads on Friday? Did you hear that?
I thought of you. I was watching the Open, and they talked about it. I was like, oh, no. I envisioned everyone like, oh, here we go. Steelers are going to manhandle them. They're going to absolutely dominate this game.
Well, I'm happy I didn't hear it, by the way, before because Friday pads is this late into the season. That must have been one of the most depressed locker rooms of all time. Just walking in there, people throwing their fucking iPads. Got to put on all these pads. And the defense is like, we got to put on pads because y'all motherfuckers won't run the ball. Okay? So that's probably what Tomlin said, by the way. He was like, hey, D, they need to feel it now, too. And Cam Hayward's like, these motherfuckers. Okay? I've been running my head into people. Now we got to do it. It didn't help. I mean, I guess they committed to the run a little bit more. They ran the ball first play, but I don't think it helped.
There was during the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, there were some good running plays, but after that, it was nothing.
The Chiefs can't cover. What else is new? Saints are dead.
Colts are good, man. Titans look good. Colts look good.
Titans looked very good. I mean, granted, it was against the Jags, but, I mean, the Jaguars beat the Colts their first game of the year, but they have been who we thought they were ever since then. Titans looked very good. Derrick Henry rushes for 200 yards yet again and has 2+ rushing touchdowns, becomes the fourth time in NFL history, fourth player in NFL history, and also has done it 4 times. Jim Brown only 3 times, Barry Sanders 3 times, so Danian Tomlinson 3 times. Congrats to Derrick Henry. He looks unbelievable. They're heating up again at the right time. Colts dominated the Raiders. The Raiders fire their defensive coordinator, and the NFC is just wide open.
Yeah.
The NFC is wide open right now. We thought that was going to be a top-heavy, you get it. Jesus Christ. A top-heavy division, but it is not at all. Now we have no idea who's going to make it, who's not. The Washington football team probably going to win a playoff game, the way I'm thinking about it. Now, this is Overreaction Monday, obviously, but the NFC is one big question mark, AJ.
I mean, Washington may win a playoff game if their defense can score 2 or 3 touchdowns like they did last week. Like, that's what you're going to have to figure out. But, I mean, I think the Rams are sitting in a beautiful spot. Like, I think they're trending in the right direction, maybe. The Saints, I don't know who they are. When does Drew get back? Do we know?
Nah, they haven't really. They've been very discreet about that whole thing, but I would assume the sports books are thinking this weekend, it feels like. But the tweets that all the insiders are putting out Friday, maybe even into Saturday and Sunday, it felt like maybe a few more weeks for Drew because they kept laying out all the injuries he had. So you could tell by the way they were wording everything, they were trying to explain why it's taking so long. Like, punctured lung and broken ribs and all that shit. So that might be another couple weeks. And Taysom Hill looked like he forgot how to play quarterback after learning how to play quarterback a week ago in the NFL. It was a very interesting day for them.
Well, and for the Rams and the Seahawks, who are kind of interchangeable right now at 3 and 5, would you rather be the 5 so you can play the NFC East instead of being the 3 so you have to play the Buccaneers?
Well, the Buccaneers, I don't think we know shit about the Bucs either. You know what I mean? Like the Buccaneers yesterday, there was a lot of misses. The Vikings obviously missed kicks and things like that, but it's not like the Bucs are the team that we all thought they were going to be. I don't think. I don't think so. Dalvin Cook had a hell of a game yesterday. I mean, I don't know. The NFC is interesting. Might be the Pack.
Ooh, we'll see.
Got to play defense though, AJ. Got to play defense for the Packers, man.
I mean, it's crazy to think that game. Like, you're like, wait, the Lions can possibly win it. Like, is this game really going to be this close? Like, that was crazy to me at the end. But it does. That tends to happen sometimes.
Well, let's go to Lucian and Terre Haute. What's going on, Lucian?
Hey, how you doing, Pat?
Hey, not too shabby. What do you want to talk about, bub?
Well, first, thanks to you and the boys for having me on the show. Big fan of the show.
Hey, no problem.
Hey, being a Indiana State University grad, I was the ISU mascot for 3 years, and I've watched plenty of ISU football and basketball games. I was wondering if there's any way we can get Big Bobby Tonyan on the show to show some ISU some love.
Yeah, go Sycamores, by the way. He blocked 5 people, I think, the other day. What are you holding your hand up?
It's funny he says that. I believe he may be on the show soon.
Big Bob Tonyan?
Bobby Tonyan?
He might be on the show?
Tomorrow.
He might be. Is that a definite or might be?
Definitely.
Oh, Big Bob Tonyan! Hey, good question, pal. The guy who was the mascot, he was a tree for a few years over there in Indiana State. You will get a chance to hear from Big Bob Tunyon, who blocked 5 people with 1 block yesterday, allowed Aaron Rodgers to have 45 seconds in the pocket to complete a hell of a pass there. Big Bob Tunyon's making quite a name for himself in his offense. Also, Tavon Austin got the rock a couple times. That could be a nice little added spark. The Packers, if that defense can get some stops and some points, it could be good. We got about a minute and a half left. Let's go to Roman in Virginia just because the name is Roman. What's going on, pal?
Hey, Pat and the boys. As we get close to the end of the show, I just wanted to reconfirm for everybody. Love watching the show, but this show stinks.
Yeah. You're 100% right, Roman. Yeah, you're 100% right. We appreciate that. All right. We got about a minute and a half left. AJ, anything you got to say to the listeners of SiriusXM before we get out of here on this Overreaction Monday?
Well, you talked about the Bucs. I don't know if I feel any better about the Bucs in their chances after their win that they easily could have lost. Dan Bailey, is he still on the team? That's a question I wanted to ask earlier.
They haven't made an announcement
For
yet.
now. Zimmer seems to really despise his kickers too, so that can't be a fun act.
Man, welcome.
Dan Bailey, I don't know when he's going to. Sometimes your brain just wins. You know, it's not good. You just got to get out of it at some point. Get into like a funk. So what do we talk about today? Chiefs are alive, probably going to win it. Colts also could be problematic. The Eagles love Jalen Hurts. Are the Saints dead? The Buffalo Bills are getting hot while the Steelers are ice cold. The Washington football team is going to represent the NFC East. Are they going to win a playoff game? Holy shit. How about the Packers just adding on to more weapons? The Buccaneers still question. The Vikings, are they firing their kicker yet? Cardinals, who knows what you're going to get with them? The Bears come back in fashion. Andy Dalton loves beating the fucking Bengals. Broncos and Panthers happened. Derrick Henry played great football. Seahawks aren't broke anymore. And the Chargers won a game they normally would have lost. Maybe that's a sign for hope, even though Anthony Lynn fucked up some situation. We got the Ravens over the Browns tonight. We'll see you manana. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. All right.
I like that run through.
Yeah, that was good.
Pretty good run through there. There's a lot of fucking games, dude.
Didn't even know the Panthers played the Broncos yesterday.
Yeah, Drew Lock played pretty good.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for him.
I did. I think Denver was an underdog, I believe, because I picked them to win.
Oh. I didn't know that.
I was interested in that one.
How'd you do?
Some of them were like Titans. Obviously won that. I don't know the other. There was a couple of them I won, and then the rest.
Lost 4, yeah.
4 L's.
That's not bad.
Yeah. That's not bad.
That's really good.
He picked every fucking game, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did you go 10-4?
That's a great. Hey, that's much.
AJ. Jeez, dude.
I need to. Can you send me a picture after my picks when I make them?
Yeah, you should see what happens. Hammered down, we do our picks, and then it gets to Sunday about halfway through the first game, and I text Gumpy. I'm like, yo, who did I pick? Because I'm watching games, and I feel like everything's going how I thought it was going to go, and then I'll get my picks back, and it's like, oh, of course I didn't fucking think this. Of course I didn't make this a pick. It should have been. Yep. It is. The gambling world is an interesting one, man. It is fucking. It's a bit interesting, but it feels like you're hot.
I don't know. All I know is FanDuel and everybody else, they just love that nobody seems to ever cash out. So,
what are you talking about?
Well, no, I've cashed out.
What? So have I.
I've cashed out.
Or I've talked to Connor about this, I believe.
Well, yeah, but Connor's a stooge.
Yeah, it's way different, dude.
What? How is it different? Pat cashing out and you not? What's the difference?
Because
just real quick.
Because I'm
show that guy.
Stooge, dude. He just said it.
Show that guy. Show that guy. There's a little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
Thank you for opening your eyes.
And this is the best he's ever going to look.
Bro, at one point, Connor had like 7 different bookies that were working for him at one point.
Yeah.
And then FanDuel got legal, and it was like, thank God we can kind of settle this thing. And he'll never cash out, by the way.
No.
And if he goes into a casino and he's winning, these are all fun toys. Until I can give them all back, I'm not leaving out of here. And he's young and he's dumb, and he'll learn, hopefully, as he continues to go. But there is no downside in cashing out. I would just like to let it, at least the money that you put in, cash out, so then you're playing on house money or do whatever you got to do. It's like that whenever you go to casinos. When you go to a casino, whatever you're betting, okay, once you start winning, take that out into your pocket, so at least it's free. Then maybe double it up so you can, whenever you walk out an hour after losing everything, you can be like, double my money today. But there's some people that just can't do that, I guess. And that is right. You are right. The sports books do love the people that can't do that, and that is the perfect example of one right there.
You heard him earlier. I mean, he's probably going to take Browns -14 if I had to guess tonight, and Austin Hooper to score 2 touchdowns, even though he's not playing.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is actually the bet I already made. So I don't really know what to do there.
Yeah.
And I'm not cashing it out. Let's ride, baby.
Yeah.
Let's ride.
Yeah. He actually gets upset about the bad beat refunds because he's like, no, take my money quicker.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
The bet's a bet, you know? If
All
I
right.
lose it, I don't care.
Real quick, Connor, did you, I'm guessing that you guys always play the promo where Pat gave you guys all $50K cash. I'm guessing you just put that right in the bank. You invested. What'd you do? Put it in real estate?
Well, you're actually looking at $10K of it right here, just in these glasses. And then there's a few more down here. And then I got like a couple of robes and stuff too. I mean, I spent some of it.
It's true. It's kind of like Mike Tyson early in his career when he just has a tiger at his house.
Hey, by the way,
thought about it.
Don't pet the tiger.
No.
Don't pet the tiger.
The rest of us bought houses. Connor bought glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, but can't blame him. If I was his age, probably would have done the same
Hey,
thing.
can you wear a house? No, you can't. You can wear sunglasses. How about that?
He has a point.
Hey,
how about that?
Right now, I have no idea what Diggs spent his money on. A house? Can't see it.
Who cares?
Fucking those glasses, though, I get to see it every single day.
Bingo.
Yep, that's a good move. This show's dumb. I'm out of here. Hammered Down is in 30 minutes. It'll be Diggs, Gumpy, and Michael Lombardi. I got to head out very quickly. We'll be back manana with another show. Hey, tomorrow, the overreaction to the Browns and the Ravens. More phone calls. Big Bob Tunyon, Aaron Rodgers, all that shit. We will see you manana. Thanks for rocking with us. 24,000 still. You're the greatest. I don't know why you do it, but we appreciate it. See you tomorrow. Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Cheers.
Yeah.